Andro 400. Guys, check out Joe's before and after pictures on andro400.com. Since 2004, men have chosen Andro 400 for one reason: results. Andro 400 can help you safely and effectively lose belly fat, gain energy, and boost your testosterone. We guarantee it. Order today and get free shipping and special discounts available only on andro400.com. andro400.com. That's andro400.com.
Hey, it's Mark Reardon for CertaPro Painters, professional painting. My favorite thing about CertaPro, you do not have to do the painting. I was hooked several years ago because I did get a free estimate, just like I'm encouraging you to do at CertaPro.com. They came over. It was a kitchen job, that first job inside a house that I used to own in South City. They did the project so efficiently, so effectively. Each CertaPro Painters business is independently owned and operated. CertaPro.com to get your free estimate today. That's Certa with a C. CertaPro.com. CertaPro Painters, proven and trusted experts in painting. Check them out today. CertaPro.com.
The Odyssey app.
The Odyssey app. Download it today and stream anytime from anywhere where St. Louis comes to talk. 97.1 FM Talk. The place for ideas. The Annie Fry Show is sponsored by Forensic IT, the tech experts that find the root cause of your technical problems. ForensicIT.com.
That is exactly what I needed to hear.
Thank God someone here knows what they're talking about.
That's us. That's right. Gotta love this American ride.
Right, you need to take the time and get the full picture.
Come on, turn the radio on. It's Saturday and I won't be long.
Don't get me wrong, I love the ladies. I mean, they rev my engine, but they don't belong in the newsroom. It is Anchor Man, not Anchor Lady.
What do you want from me? I'm not America's sweetheart.
Goodness sake, kid. Keep your voice down. Your father's listening to the radio.
I'm not America's sweetheart.
This is the Annie Fry Show.
Happy Tuesday. Welcome to the Annie Fry Show. So very glad that you are here. And in a part, I'm glad that I'm here too. The baby has not come yet. And I'm struggling, but I wanted a June baby. So we got ourselves a June baby. For the people in the baby pool who suggested maybe I saw someone suggest Annie's patriotic. How about July 4th?
No.
Please. Have you listened to anything I've been saying?
No, that's not happening.
I'm looking at the sound for today. You know, the right way to come into a radio show is to hit you with something really compelling. Really grabbing your attention, really topical, something probably pretty new. And I just am not feeling it. I told Katie before we started the show, I go, should I fake that? Should I just like try to give it my best effort and just go into this and let me do Michael Jordan played the best game of his entire life when he was riddled with the flu. I mean, imagine doing that in COVID time. Like he had like 140 temperature he was just, so I could maybe fake it. I remember playing sports in high school, and if you're feeling sick or if you can't do any of this stuff anymore. If you're sick, you're supposed to stay home. Yes, I know. It was the 90s. Leave me alone, people. We did lots of stupid things. Maybe someday, maybe in the future, we'll get back to doing dumb things again and embracing it. But you kind of overcompensate, when you're not feeling good. You want to make sure you don't play sick. So you give it your all, and maybe that's your best. So I said to Katie, I go, should I fake it or should I be honest with people? Katie told me to be honest.
Mm-hmm.
So here I am. If it's the bad decision, Steve, you just put that on Katie Fitzpatrick.
Guilty. My fault.
It's hard. I've got June 17th is the due date. 39 weeks is June 10th. So I think that I can be induced by June 10th. But last night, these past 2 nights, I went to bed Sunday night at about 6:45 a.m. was when I fell asleep. That's not when I went to bed. I was in bed way earlier than that. Fell asleep at about 6:45 in the morning. And last night, I think I finally fell asleep at 1 and I woke up at 3. So this is what I'm rolling with.
That's the worst. I have, I've talked about this phrase before, the Sunday scaries. Yeah. It doesn't happen often, but
you have
sometimes
to explain that because you like casually threw the Sunday scaries at one time on the show. And I'm like, excuse me, what?
So that anxiety that you feel that the weekend is over and now you're going into the work week and you might not have done everything that you wanted to do this weekend. And maybe things at your work are causing anxiety, whatever the case may be. It's just that moment that you're ending the weekend and starting the work week. And you're like, I don't know if I'm ready. And that's sometimes I get that
everyday scaries.
Last night was one of those nights for me. I was struggling to get to bed, and you and I were kind of talking, Annie, and we were just talking about the night.
I tried really hard to leave Katie alone most of the weekend.
Yeah, absolutely. And then, we have to do a job. We have to share articles in the news and clips with one another. But I woke up this morning and I feel like I didn't get a wink of sleep. And I see the text messages from Annie. It is like 1:30, 3 o'clock, 4:30, 5:30. And I'm like, Annie, you did not sleep at all. I know you didn't sleep. And I had a hard time sleeping just because it is not fun to not get a wink of sleep, and this is what you're doing on top of being very, very pregnant.
Well, I mean, it's all one and the same. We did call the doctor last night, the exchange, because we thought about going in, because you just kind of get a feeling. How stupid is this? I'm so worried I'm going to go in and they're going to be like, you're not in labor, and then they're going to send me home. Like, that's embarrassing to me. I am gigantic. And when I go in and I'm 37 and a half weeks pregnant and I'm having contractions, like, I need to just not get a conscience about it. I just need to go do it. But I'm like, I can't. What if they send me home? And my husband's looking at me like, then we go home.
Then we go home.
And then we come back again the next time something happens and we feel like we need to come in. So I don't know. I'm holding on to dear life. Let's see here. Who was that? Betsy said, hi, everyone. I lost the baby pool. I see. Well, Betsy, you were my supporter, and I am grateful that you hoped that it would be sooner than this.
Oh, for sure. Absolutely. It's tough.
So I was looking through the news last night. I was combing through and trying to pick things out. I'm always amazed at the other people who are up on Twitter sharing things and fighting things. Fighting about things throughout the course of the evening, night, whatever. I wanted to talk about Joey Jones. Did I send you that? I don't know if I sent you that. Joey Jones was on the show last week with us, and I was excited to have him on because he's a regular guest on Fox News. He's a Fox News contributor. He's a Fox Nation host, and he served, and he lost both of his legs in service. And when you look at especially the way he presents himself, the way he presented himself, Kate, I don't know how you felt about the discussion that we had with Joey Jones last week, but he had such a positivity about himself. And, he has made such a life for himself after coming home, serving overseas, losing his legs. You think about the brightness that he brings to the conversation. It's a really compelling, tangible thing.
Oh, yeah. Very refreshing. I mean, he was giving examples just about COVID and how even in this the last 15 months have been just absolutely horrible for everybody and devastating for everyone. And yet he was like, but you can even find light in that kind of darkness. You can find goodness in all of that mess. And it was just an uplifting, wonderful interview.
So I want to read to you in light of Memorial Day. We're live on the webcam. You can watch the show. If I go into labor, you will be the first to know. If my screen goes black, then I could be delivering a baby right here in my studio in my basement. Who knows? Hopefully I get the screen off before any of that action starts taking place. Maybe not. I like views. I don't know if I'd like myself after that. So if you are interested in watching the webcam, it's on at facebook.com/Annie Fry Show, the Annie Fry YouTube channel. But when I am looking at Memorial Day and I am enjoying the long weekend, the one that Kamala Harris referred to, enjoy your long weekend. This is what she tweets out with a picture of herself. Could we have a picture of you recognizing somebody who has given their life for this country? Is it too much to ask? I have to check myself because I know that I'm hormonal and I could be a little too sensitive to these types of things, but that really got under my skin. The picture of her is beautiful. It's a good picture of her, but what does that have to do with Memorial Day? And saying enjoy the long weekend, it almost seems to me that it was so forward and such a misstep that she had to know what she was doing when she said that. Like, let's get under the skin. Let's send all the righties or the Trumpers or the GOP off the deep end for the weekend, and we'll have them chase this dog down an alley while we move on past them down the street. Memorial Day is a day to remember the people who didn't come home, so that we can have these kinds of conversations about, yes, the vice president of the United States or the president of the United States, where we can criticize things about the people who are elected to govern us. We elect them. We're the people who are in charge, and we don't get to do that without the ultimate sacrifice of those who have gone before us. Now, everybody's got a Memorial Day post to put out. You have to put the Memorial Day post out, because if you don't say it, it's just, in some capacity, it's like a lot of other virtue signaling, where if you're not on record as saying it, then people might assume the absolute worst about you. I mean, I see all the conservative media outlets talking about Chris Pratt put out a really compelling Memorial Day remembrance, and it was really compelling. But it's so rare that we have to acknowledge it and write news articles about Chris Pratt saying something good about Memorial Day. That's kind of weird, right? Well, you and I, well, maybe, I'm not even going to speak for you. I know what Memorial Day is. I had a grandfather who served in World War II. He served in the Pacific Theater. He was in the Army. He was a topographer. I think he was very close. I think he was very close to going into Japan, but the war ended right before he had to. And he came home. He brought his new bride from Australia home. He came home and he lived a Midwestern life, worked for Shell Oil in Roxana for decades and decades. And that was his existence. But there were so many people who didn't come home. And I know this. I respect it. I make sure that my kids understand what that means. But Joey Jones put something up on Twitter that I think it really put it into perspective for me. And I thought, since we weren't here with you yesterday, I wanted to read this before we go to a break. We're going to welcome Tony Colombo into the studio here for the rest of the hour in just a minute. I want to read this. This is from Joey Jones. And if you missed the interview that we had with him last week, you can listen to it on our podcast, which is at odyssey.com or wherever you get your podcast from. And you can hear our personal conversation with Joey Jones last week. So this is what he put up on Twitter on May 29th. I can't drink anymore. When I do, the ghosts show up. They put their arm on my shoulder, look at me, body parts missing, faces half blown off. They smile with what is left of their smile. They look at me with wisdom I can't fathom, and they hold me with love I can't understand. I just can't face them. How do I look upon a man with honest eyes, knowing I'm here breathing, laughing, complaining, and he's lying dead beneath us? I can't have that tough conversation with any of them. The one where I tell them I miss them, where I say I'm sorry, and they reply, for what? The conversation where they ask me about their kids, toddlers then, adults now, their widows, some remarried and happy, some drowning in sorrow and regret. I can't look upon their faces and keep a dry eye. So when I drink and my brothers come, I cry. I get angry. I see visions of hell and feel resentment for heaven. I see spoiled children laughing around me, the lucky ones who haven't seen behind those curtains, the many. I hate them for their ignorance. I hate I didn't die when I should have to keep them that way, so I don't drink. Instead, I smile. I remember them as they were. I watch their kids grow, and I find love and speak their names and tell their stories as often as I can. I just thought that was an incredibly compelling way to recognize these people. And then he shared tweets of those loved ones that he lost who served with him. And that to me was what the dose of perspective that I needed. It was a far departure from enjoy your long weekend. It's a stop and put you dead in your tracks, where you realize, okay, this is a real thing that we're recognizing today. This isn't just a patriotic holiday where you're supposed to spread your red, white, and blue and wave your American flags and barbecue, because that's the American way. There are people who have given their lives so that we can have the casual understanding of what is so incredibly great about this country. the pacificity that we can have, the luxury that we can have to have a mental departure from one another where you believe one thing and I believe another, and we can fight and we can argue about that. We can discuss it. We can come together. We can come to an agreement. We can have a conversation. And at the end, decide, wow, I'm feeling even more confident about my position than when I started, and the other person feels the same way, and there's no agreement in that Venn diagram. We get to do all of that because of people like Joey Jones, who are still here, who have those memories, who can't have a drink because it brings back things into their mind that they can't control when they take the sip. And I think that that is what people need to be listening to. I'm kind of really sick and tired of listening to the politicians, the slick politicians who know exactly what you want to hear and they know exactly how to dish it out to you. The celebrities whose only purpose in life is to stay as close in front of your eyeballs and next to your ears as they possibly can, weighing in on these things. They should. It's the right thing to do. Let's focus more on the Joey Joneses of the world who were there, who did it, who lived through it, so they can tell us about the people who didn't. Let's talk to Tony Colombo in a minute. Don't go away.
Crushing down on heartache. I wanna find the key to the sky.
This is the Annie Fry Show. Interact with Annie on Facebook. The Annie Fry Show.
Did you know that the average home takes on 40 pounds of dust per year? That's nasty. Your carpet is the biggest air filter in your home, so it needs some summer loving to keep it fresh and clean. Call my friends at Zero Res at 314-474-2020 or book online anytime at ZeroResSTL.com. Tell them that Mark Reardon sent you.
A reading from the Golden Oak Lending Book of Mortgage Lingo.
What is a no-charge appraisal? It's never asking for a credit card or charging for a home appraisal if we can't close your loan.
No risk on refinancing, but I live for danger.
I'm James Hawkins, president of Golden Oak Lending. Refinancing with Golden Oak is anything but risky business. And with our mortgage rates at a low 2.25%, you can save hundreds each month and skip your next two payments. And remember, our local lending experts speak mortgage and love translating for our customers. Removing risk from your next purchase or refi means you can find your thrills elsewhere.
Skydiving? No. Cliff jumping. Wait, hang gliding.
Aren't you afraid of heights?
Stop. You're embarrassing me.
Get started today with our simple zipline tool at goldenoaklending.com.
NMLS 114937, 2.25% fixed, 3.195% APR, FHA 15-year mortgage with 20% equity and approved credit, 11737 Administration Drive, St. Louis, Missouri.
Looking to make a flooring purchase in the near future? I'm not sure if it's at your home, if it's your place of business. Maybe you make the purchasing decisions for where you work. I want you to check out Michael's Flooring Outlet. They have an amazing selection of in-stock products ready for next day install. It says right there on their website at igotfloored.com. You can check out their beautiful inventory that they have online right now if you're browsing and you're thinking, yes, this is something we need to do. And you can invest in the expertise that Michael's Flooring Outlet brings to the table when you're talking about that flooring purchase. There are a lot of people in town who sell flooring. They're probably very good at what they do, but I'm going to tell you right now that Michael's Flooring Outlet is the best. I'm going to tell you about how they have been so incredibly supportive of 97.1 for years and years and years, and how when you go to support Michael's Flooring Outlet, you're supporting us here, and we are all very grateful for it. If you're looking for quality, if you're looking for value, and if you're looking for the best customer experience, check out Michael's Flooring Outlet online at igotfloored.com.
Hi, this is Lance Drury with the Lance Drury Law Firm here in St. Louis. I've been warning our clients that IRS employees are back at work since mid-July, and their collection efforts have ramped up. Well, sure enough, it looks like it's happening. So if you have unfiled tax returns, wage levies, bank levies, or tax liens, now's the time to call the Lance Drury Law Firm before the IRS calls you. Tax resolution plans are based off your current income. So if your current income is less than normal due to the COVID-19 pandemic, this is precisely the time for the Lance Drury Drury Law Firm to help you. Your consultation is free, so don't put it off. The Lance Drury Law Firm focuses solely on tax resolution law. It's all we do. And if you have IRS problems, you have legal problems. Let us use our tax law resolution experience to guide you and work on your custom resolution plan. Call now. It's free and confidential. Call me, Lance Drury, at 314-260-6120 or go to Lance, DRURYlaw.com.
The choice of a lawyer is an important decision and should not be based solely upon advertisements.
A birthstone set in a pendant symbolizes a special day someone was born. An engagement ring center stone symbolizes a relationship grounded in love. Come to Shane Company for superior stones that come from the earth. Natural stones won't lose their value over time. We have diamonds, rubies, and sapphires in over a dozen colors. It's what we're known for. Our meticulous selection process ensures you'll always get the most beautiful loose stone at a direct importer price. Our gemologists examine each diamond and gemstone, and I personally hand-select our rubies and sapphires. Whether you choose a brilliant diamond or a colorful gemstone, your natural stone from Shane Company will be spectacular. Now you have a friend in the jewelry business, Shane Company and shaneco.com. Open weekdays 10 till 8, Saturday 10 till 5, and Sunday noon till 5.
The latest local forecast and severe weather coverage you can count on from the name in St. Louis weather.
This is 97.1's Chief Meteorologist, Dave Murray.
On 97.1 FM Talk, powered by Air Comfort Service.
Used to keep it cool, used to be a fool, all about the bounce in my step. Watch it on the news, what you gonna do? I could hit refresh and forget. Used to keep it cool. Should I keep it light, stay out of the fight? No one's gonna listen to me. If I write a song, preaching what is
As a group representing small businesses sues the organization for taking the All-Star game out of Atlanta over the new election laws there, with the move reportedly costing local businesses up to $100 million in lost revenue. The Job Creators Network is demanding
that we tried everything that we... Hi, good morning, Nancy.
Hi,
Thank you for having me.
You're welcome. Thanks for coming on. Tell us about this lawsuit. Why did you decide, or your group decide, to sue?
Yeah, absolutely. Well, thank you. Well, look, first of all, let me tell you that we tried everything that we could think of to try to get Commissioner Manfred's attention. We sprung into action 4 days after that move actually happened. We put up 2 billboards up in New York, Times Square, right down from his offices, and nothing. We took a full page ad out in the New York Times trying to address this issue, and nothing. We sent letters to his offices, nothing. We even sent protesters outside of his headquarters in New York, and absolutely nothing, zero, nada, Ansley. And so here we are today. We filed a lawsuit yesterday in federal court in New York, and basically making that request or demand, really, that they bring the game back to Atlanta where it rightfully belongs and should have never been moved to begin with, or quite frankly, set up a relief fund of $100 million, which is the estimated damages to our local businesses across Georgia.
That's Alfredo Ortiz, who's a small business owner in Georgia. He's also the CEO of the Job Creators, and they're suing Major League Baseball. We got Tony Colombo in studio with us. Hi, Tony. How are you doing?
Hey, guys. How are you?
Doing fine. You sound a lot better than last time, at least I talked to you.
Yes. Yeah. I would say that it's still not all the way back. My voice, I'd call it like 85, 90%, but yeah, way better than it was last week.
So have you heard about this story? Have you heard about this story with these business owners in Georgia, small business owners suing Major League Baseball?
Yeah, I mean, and that clip that you just played explains pretty much all the details as I understand it, at least. And I think good for them. I mean, I think it's very obvious that they were planning on this economic boom that was supposed to hit their community. They're planning on, the city, and the organizers there fought for this to get this in their city. They think it's going to happen. They start making preparations, and then they get it yanked away from them. So I don't blame them I don't know that they can legally win. I'm not sure that Major League Baseball did anything illegal, but I don't blame these businesses and these people in Georgia and Atlanta being so upset about thinking they're about ready to get a big payday and then it all getting taken away for petty political reasons and moving it to a city that has you can't move it. You can't say the reason that we're moving this is because we don't like your conservative election laws and move it to a city that has more progressive or more conservative laws
in some cases.
In many areas. So in election laws, apples to apples comparison. Let
me read from John Solomon on justthenews.com, because when I saw this story, I was happy about it because it's really dumb that they did this to Atlanta. When if you're going to profile the top 10, top 20 cities in the country and look for places where, the Georgia laws were deemed racist, right? That the election laws, the reason they were bad, the criticism was a blanket statement of you're trying to keep African Americans from voting, which I think the accusation in and of itself is racist, suggesting that and you can see the videos where they go to the man on the street and they're like, so what do you think about people suggesting that it's hard for Black people to get voter ID or to obtain a voter ID? And they're like, I have my ID on me right now. Every time they're like, why would it be hard for me to get my ID? Like, really answer that question. How would it be hard for me to get the ID?
Yeah.
And
why do you think that I'm not smart enough to be able to get my ID?
Yeah. And my favorite one was the guy who was like, the DMV is on like 123 Main Street, right around the corner. He like knew the address of the DMV. I don't know the address of my DMV. So this is by John Solomon, a reporter that I trust, on his outlet, justthenews.com. The suit filed in U.S. District Court in Manhattan by the Job Creators Network alleges the MLB violated the Ku Klux Klan Act of 1871 and committed tortious interference in business by canceling the game over a political matter. It seeks damages of at least $100 million for the businesses of Atlanta, as well as an order to restore the game this summer to the Atlanta Braves home stadium, Truist Park, which is what we just heard there in the sound. I mean, isn't the biggest calamity of this entire situation that the very people who are being told that these election laws are hurting them, the MLB doubled down in an entirely woke manner to try to get ahead of being, a partner to something that was racist, because that's the word that's being thrown out. And you're hurting Atlanta. Atlanta is known for its African-American scene and the thriving business nature of a lot of African-American businesses that exist there. This is a place that's supposed to be celebrated, and they said, we're going to pull out of the state and go to Colorado. It's crazy.
Yep, absolutely. Absolutely. And short-sighted. And, we could all see that this was going to happen. And it's a long time before the All-Star game when this decision was made. And in any time that's the case, more information is going to come out. More details are going to emerge. People's thoughts on what is happening are going to change. And the people that live in the community are going to get a chance to react. Mm-hmm. I'm sure that they feel like I'm sure they feel picked on.
This is, I think, a perfect example of when a brand thinks that they're doing something right by having an opinion. Yeah. And then the reaction and the effect is that you're actually hurting real humans, real life
the
humans.
Ones that you're claiming to represent. Because again, like Annie pointed out, the message is you're not smart enough or strong enough to protect yourselves. So we'll do it for you.
You just said something there that kind of spurred a thought in my head. The people you're claiming to protect, it's way worse than that, because they will prop up their wokeness, their virtue, on the backs of these people. Let's not pretend that like the MLB and the NFL and these massive economic machines that exist in this country, because people, everyday people, decide to participate in it. Where when you get, I mean, I don't know how you feel about this, Tony, when you're looking through Twitter and you see like a woke quote from some big corporation, and it's like they can't not say anything. They can't help themselves. Yeah. They have to wade into these waters so that they can be on record. Because again, like I said before in the first segment, if you don't speak on an issue, then it is licensed assumption that you stand in the absolute worst possible place on any position. Like, if you have not clarified it, if you have not signaled your virtue for the world to see, then we know without equivocation where you stand, and you are probably a racist, sexist, misogynist, whatever it is. But it's not so much that, I don't look at the MLB like they were really trying to protect the voting rights of African Americans in Atlanta and Georgia beyond. They're using this pretty much as a marketing tool to show people what kind of company they want people to think that they are. But it's so short-sighted. They're using real issues that face American citizens, real issues that are talked about in political circles that need actual real solutions. They're using that for their business, which is way worse than actually acting as though you're trying to protect somebody.
Yeah. Okay. If you're Major League Baseball and you really think, because they don't care. They're just trying to do whatever is the right thing to do to, not mess up any merchandise sales or ratings any more than they have to. So they don't really care about voting laws and all of that. They're just trying to stay on the quote unquote right side and, not get canceled. But if they really did care, you keep the game there for all the reasons that we just said. You make it a point to say, look, we know these businesses in Atlanta are planning on Major League Baseball and all of our resources and all the great things that come along with the All-Star Week and the All-Star Weekend. And we look forward to working with those businesses and the people of Atlanta. We don't agree with this law that was just passed. So, we are going to work hard to spread the word and teach people what are, we're going to put out information about what is in this bill and why we think, and you fight for your cause. But Major League Baseball has or any of these corporations have any intention of fighting for any cause. And that's hard, and it takes time, and it takes research, and you have to know what you're talking about. And who's got time for that? It's easy to just say, you know what? Everybody else is mad. We'll be mad too. We're moving the game.
Put me on board.
Yeah, we're moving the game. You don't solve, even if they were completely 100% right, that this was a move that was overwhelmingly supported, across the board. It wasn't a very divisive political move. You're still not solving any, you're still not helping any problems. You're still creating more problems than you are solving. So you're not assisting with anything by doing that. So
you think if MLB would have taken a moment, nobody takes a moment. There's it's the
because you don't have time. Because you don't have time.
You don't want to get canceled.
Because you'll get canceled, right?
But if we could,
like you said, even not speaking on an issue
is an implication
can get you canceled. Exactly.
What if we took a moment? Isn't that what's kind of missing? And I don't know. We all have to put our hands in the middle and agree not to cancel. I hate cancel culture. So, I'll be standing there with my hand in the middle, and everybody will be like, "What are you doing?" Put my hand in the middle.
You put your right hand in.
Yeah.
And you put
oh man, I banned that song from my wedding. I just think that the moment, if MLB would have waited a week to weigh in on this, you think they still would have made the same decision? Maybe they would have.
They would have, but there would have been less of a. I think there would have been less of a chance of it happening, because that was so obviously a impulsive move.
Mm-hmm.
That,
and when the accusation is that if you stand beside anything that has to do with these election laws, that you're racist. There's no this is not the right way to do this. We can do this better. It's you're with us or you're racist. Yeah. So MLB goes, oh my gosh, we're not racist. We got to. So they stop it immediately and they make this knee-jerk reaction. They don't think about the fact that that's a conservative estimate of their customers, the people who consume their product, might be okay with what Georgia is trying to do. And the implication of abandoning Atlanta, abandoning Georgia, and shipping it off to Colorado is turning your back on that 50, probably plus % group of people in this country who are like, I'm not racist. I think these laws are fine.
Yeah.
Why are you going to Colorado?
It is just so stupid that race is the headline of this story and so many other stories when it comes to, election law, but whatever. So I hate to even give credibility to, everything is racist by talking about it. But there's not one person from the racial aspect. But there's not one person in the boardroom at Major League Baseball that went, okay, we're doing this because Georgia is racist. So let's take the game out of Atlanta and put it in Denver. And there wasn't a single person that put their hand up and went, if race is the headline here,
we got it.
Is this the right move? Atlanta to Denver? Like they're that stupid? Yeah.
The whole conversation, the question is, if we do this, how much money are we going to make? If we do this, how much money are we going to lose?
Yeah.
And then
it was we have to get out of Atlanta because that's the woke thing to do right now. And for whatever reason, maybe the Colorado Rockies were the first ones to come calling and saying, hey, we'll take it. But nobody.
We just shipped $50 million to St. Louis, Missouri with Nolan Arenado. We need some business back over here.
Yeah,
come on over. Bring the All-Star game here.
Yikes.
It's just bizarre. So the lawsuit is out there. We'll see what happens. A lot of people have lawsuits. You get PR for it, and then you never hear about them again. We'll see about this one. I hope they're successful. More with Tony Colombo in studio in just a minute. Don't go away.
Way up below, we gon' burn the whole house down. Watch me standing in line. You're only serving
This is the Annie Fry Show.
something to hide. We gon' burn the whole
Find the
house
podcast,
down.
on-demand audio, and more at 971talk.com/Annie.
You're listening to the Annie Fry Show live from the Air Comfort Service Heating and Cooling Studio. Air Comfort Service is hiring licensed journeymen. Don't have a journeyman license? Air Comfort Service will help you get it. Get guaranteed hours year-round and more. Apply online at aircomfortservice.com.
If you own a house and want to sell it fast at a fair price, Chris Buys Homes in St. Louis can pay you cash and close in as little as 5 days. Chris Buys Homes in St. Louis is your most trusted home buyer. We buy houses in any condition, any price range, and in any location in the St. Louis metro. Call 314-782-5000. Chris Buys Homes in St. Louis buys inherited houses, divorce houses, behind in payment houses, and even those my tenant won't pay me the rent houses. Do you own a house that is trashed and needs thousands of dollars in repairs? Call Chris Buys Homes in St. Louis today. Vacant houses, abandoned houses, condemned houses, and foreclosure houses. If you own a house and want to sell it fast, get a cash offer in just 7 minutes. Call Chris Buys Homes in St. Louis at 314-782-5000. That's 314-782-5000. 314-782-5000.
Hey guys, Colombo back with you for our family dentist, Dr. Matt Boscia at New Creation Dental Care. Dr. Boscia and the awesome staff out there at New Creation have done so many great things for our family. In fact, Maggie and Christine finally got back to the dentist for the first time, I think, since before the pandemic. Like so many families, we are behind. It's like you lost a whole year there, and New Creation knows that. So they offer great services like early morning and evening appointments. They know that people haven't had a chance to get to the dentist, but they're also back at work maybe for the first time in a long time. And kids, are still in school or they have other things going on. And you don't want to mess up their schedules that just got back to normal. So you can go in the morning, you can go in the evening, you can take advantage of the incredible implant technology, orthodontics, fast braces, sleep apnea treatment, all of that and more. And now 2 locations and Dr. Jennifer Allen at New Creation Dental Care. Learn more at newcreationdentalcare.com.
The button, a symbol of things made easier. Before buttons, things were much harder, like pull starting an outboard motor.
Come on, you. Come on, you. Come on. Okay, this time you're gonna start. Come on.
or manually opening a garage door.
Oh no, my back.
Or even treating sleep apnea. If you've tried CPAP but struggle to get a good night's sleep, relief can be as easy as a button with Inspire.
Inspire is a sleep apnea treatment that works inside your body with just the click of a remote. That's right, a button. As you sleep, Inspire keeps you breathing normally and sleeping peacefully. No mask, no hose, just sleep. To learn more, visit inspiresleep.com. That's inspiresleep.com. Inspire, sleep apnea innovation. Inspire is not for everyone. Talk to your doctor to see if it's right for you and review important safety information at inspiresleep.com.
Save today on your next project with 11% off everything now at Menards. Get unbeatable quality and satisfaction guarantee with Cabot Premium Exterior Wood Stains and Finishes. They provide lasting protection for any exterior wood surface. Get 11% off all Cabot stains and finishes. Start saving with 11% off everything now at Menards. Good through Saturday, June 5th. Savings are a mail-in rebate. Some exclusions apply. See store for details.
Save big money at Menards.
And I'm proud to be an American. ACM, CMA, and Grammy Award winner, Lee Greenwood. Doors open at 6:30, shows at 7:30. July 4th, River City Casino and Hotel. Lee Greenwood.
Somebody's gonna love you.
Tickets are on sale now at the box office or online at Ticketmaster.com.
Beat a rock and a heartache.
There's more at LeeGreenwood.com.
Odyssey is your new home for all the audio that matters to you. Anytime, anywhere. Download the Odyssey app today to listen to 97.1 FM Talk wherever you go.
Once upon a midnight period, woke with something in my head. I couldn't escape the memory of a phone call and of what you said. Like a game show contestant with a parting gift. I could not believe my eyes when I saw through the buds of a trusted friend who needs to humor me and tell me lies. Yeah, humor me and tell me lies.
Welcome back to the Annie Fry Show. Thanks for spending some of your Tuesday with us. We got Tony Colombo in studio with us, as we do each Tuesday, for the crazy news that exists.
Blues Traveler, huh? Like they just like
killed it.
Went to the top and then just went away.
Never happened. Yeah.
That dude is super talented and
Super talented.
like crazy. And I blues music is blues and kind of a crossover to Southern rock, but blues is what I really like. And
yeah, it's like blues, Southern rock, and nerd rock all mixed in a big pot.
How many songs did they have?
I bet you they had 4 legitimate hits.
Did you
I can't
ever
think
play
of
them?
all off the top of my head? Yeah, we played them on. Yeah, I played them on the Point. We may even played a little bit on 104 on the Mall. But yeah, I've definitely played some Blues Travelers.
Run Around, Hook.
Yeah, those are the two that come to mind immediately, and I'm thinking there's got to be at least another one or two that I'm not.
But
thinking
anyway, I don't know.
That's a good song. That's a good
Carolina
song.
Blues.
Where'd they go? They just said,
I think they just kind of like.
we did our part.
Yeah, I
now
mean,
we're
I
going
think
away.
I don't think they ever. I think every song sounds exactly the same. So it's
It's a
like
whole
it's
vibe.
cool, but like when you do 2 or 3 albums of that, that's kind of it.
Christopher on Facebook says 2 big albums with 2 to 4 singles over the years. And you wonder how much
that's what I said.
How much they made off of that. All right, let's get to it. Signs
Now. Signs of the Apocalypse.
Where?
On the Annie Fry Show.
On the Annie Fry Show. That Christopher's a smart dude.
Hi, Jim.
Okay, this is pretty great. A guy named Florida went on a ridiculous crime spree in Florida.
Where else would you go?
So this guy, his name is
Probably the
Lawrence.
most sensible thing he's ever done.
Right. His name is Lawrence Franklin King, Florida. 4 names on this guy.
Are you sure it's not Lawrence Florida?
I'm not.
It could be.
It could be. It could be. I'm pretty sure it's just Florida. So,
go by
Larry
Florida.
Florida goes on this crazy. I mean, Lawrence.
What a name.
His name is Lawrence, Florida.
Larry
Florida. So Larry goes on
Florida.
this. This is a great. This is one heck of a day. First, he broke into a seafood restaurant and stole all the White Claws from their refrigerator, then went outside and threw them in a pond that was behind the restaurant.
There you go.
So that's what you do with that.
Something a 3-year-old would do.
After that, he went to a barber shop that was a couple blocks away, stole a set of clippers. Then he broke into another barber shop that was near that one and stole 5 more sets of clippers. After that, he broke into a carpet store, then a cafe where he took $800 in cash. He also broke into a vet's office, then a separate business called Little Cat Rescue, where he stole a bunch of pet medicine.
He's just creating chaos.
Yeah, exactly.
Nothing that he's doing is for he's not like, I need a loaf of bread for my son. He's just stealing stuff. I almost said a bad word.
He finally got
stuff and throwing it in the lake.
Right. He finally got home at about 5:30 in the morning.
That is
before
where
he was done. His last thing, as he was walking into his house, he went next door and ripped the Ring camera off his neighbor's front door.
Did you hear Katie's hot take? The walk away from this story is that White Claw belongs in the lake.
It does. It belongs there. It's trash, and we all know it.
I can't say
trash.
I have ever enjoyed a
It
White
tastes
Claw.
like swamp. Like what you
Well,
think
he
a
threw
swamp
it in the
would-
swamp.
Yeah, that's exactly.
He literally
what it
threw it in the swamp. I mean, a pond in Florida, that's kind of the swamp.
is. Same thing.
This one's
You're
pretty
like,
great.
I don't know what's wrong with this guy. I think he's some dude.
Yeah.
Florida.
I like Larry.
This is a good little neighbor brawl when you don't like your neighbor. Someone was looking at satellite images on Google Maps and found a plot of land in Salt Lake City where someone mowed the B word into a big patch of grass big enough that it could be seen by the Google Maps satellite. Yes. It was in an empty lot behind a piece of land that was somebody's property and had their home on it. And it was the neighbor that did this. They mowed the B word into this big plot of empty land and then mowed an arrow pointing at the
To be clear,
house.
don't want to have anybody make any misunderstandings about what was really intended here.
Dang,
Yeah,
what
exactly.
could you have done to make somebody that mad? Like, what did you do?
Yeah, there's no details on the dispute. We just
That's
know.
like I think neighbor disputes can be death by 1,000 cuts. Like if you talk to somebody about a neighbor situation that's not going well, you might have to sit through a series of stories that kind of build over time to create a mutual hatred of one another. Or maybe there's just one big incident. But man, that's a lot of work.
Yeah.
The B word, of course, is bandana. For people that are wondering.
Bandana.
Over here to the right,
That's a
as
joke.
you can see indicated by the arrow.
It's a different B word. 37% of Americans admitted in a recent poll that they have barbecued drunk.
How many?
37%. Come on.
Yeah, come on.
You friggin' liars.
Low?
That number is 97%.
Low, yeah.
At
Low.
least.
So low.
At least. What, like, at least once?
Come on.
Come on.
Come on.
Maybe you didn't start the
What are you
barbecue
doing
drunk.
on there? You're getting a Bud
But by
Light.
the
You're
end of
cracking
the-
open a Bud
But by
Light.
the end of the day, I
Define
mean, you're not going anywhere. You're
barbecue.
It's your house. Meat on the grill.
You got an
Meat on
hour
the
to
grill.
kill.
That's it. Barbecue. Yeah.
Slamming.
Yeah. You're in your house
shotgunning.
drinking out of your cup. Kiss it. I'm drunk. What are you gonna do about it?
Kiss if I'm drunk. You throw that White Claw.
My
in the lake,
house,
come over here and grab a
my
cold
grill,
beer,
my
stand by
deck.
the grill.
My life.
I'm not going anywhere.
My life.
Yeah.
My choice.
So
Tony,
what?
you got a spring in your step today.
So what? I'm drunk. That is a that is a little bit of an old stand-up comedy, very famous one. People that little Easter egg for the people that know what that
I have no
kiss it,
idea.
I'm drunk.
But I like it.
Michael on Facebook says, I don't even drink in my barbecue drunk.
See, there you
There
go.
you go. Oh my God.
Big Memorial Day weekend. It was a big, obviously, continuing the barbecue theme. Big barbecue weekend. So a poll was conducted. What are Americans' favorite method of cooking a hot dog and favorite topping on said hot dog?
This is such a
Not
It's a
surprisingly,
issue.
the vast majority of Americans prefer their hot dogs grilled. We're not to the toppings yet.
Oh, sorry.
75%.
You're jumping ahead.
75% said that they prefer it grilled.
That is the best way to eat a hot dog.
Yeah, 9%.
It's not the
Go
normal way because it's just takes a lot of time.
Right. 9% said it's best over the campfire, which I get that. I get that for
taking the grill to another
sentimental
extent.
reasons, right? But yeah, it's still not as good as a grilled hot
Fire
dog.
up the campfire. So you can eat a good hot dog.
6% prefer them boiled. 3% like them to be steamed, and 2% are the favorite way is in the microwave. Nobody's favorite way is in the microwave.
Maybe the most used, but not
microwaves are
fave.
fine. It's fine, but it's not. And I also I'm not against the boiling. I know that makes some people think that is just so gross.
Oh man.
It doesn't. It's
They
not. Again,
taste okay,
it's not
but
my
then you have
favorite.
hot dog water.
Yeah, that's the worst part.
That's
but
the
as long
bad
as you
part.
get the water.
What do you eat on your hot dog?
The number one topping, according to this poll, was mustard.
Yeah.
Mustard number one. Ketchup was second. Followed by onions, relish, chili, cheese, sauerkraut, mayo, bacon,
Relish.
jalapenos,
Ooh.
and coleslaw.
Grilled onions. Man, there is nothing like a good ballpark hot dog, the way a ballpark hot dog is supposed to be. But I'm telling you what, you get some white buddy bread, put that hot dog in the microwave with a slice of American cheese and ketchup, you're not complaining. That's delicious stuff right there. Tony is complaining. We'll be right back with Marc Cox. So go ahead.
You want to retire soon, but everyone keeps telling you to wait until you're 65. After all, that's the age that you qualify for Medicare and you're close to full retirement age. I'm Marvin Mitchell, president of Compass Retirement Solutions. In my new book, Retire Early, the 9 critical decisions when retiring before 65, I discuss proper planning to help make early retirement possible. When to take Social Security, what to do with your 401k, healthcare, how to maximize retirement income, and much more. Get a complimentary copy of Retire Early by calling 1-800-743-8510. That's 1-800-743-8510. Can you retire early? Call 1-800-743-8510 for your copy of Retire Early, the 9 critical decisions when retiring before 65.
Investments and services offered through Compass Retirement Group, a registered investment advisory in Missouri and Illinois. Compass Retirement Solutions is not affiliated with the U.S. government or any governmental agency.
Hey, it's Mark Reardon for ThrottleNet. And if you need new IT service and you're a small business owner, or you just need better IT service, why wouldn't you check out ThrottleNet? They won Best in Customer Service from Small Business Monthly this past January, Best in Cybersecurity in Small Business Monthly in February. Ransomware has been huge, unfortunately, on the rise through the pandemic. And ThrottleNet has saved clients $2.6 million in ransom. They protect against ransomware by providing a tool set that provides cybersecurity training for employees, identifying and quarantining an infected machine from the network, and the equipment will recover in less than 24 hours. Take advantage of a great offer. The first 30 days with ThrottleNet are free. There's no onboarding fees if you leave in the first 30 days. ThrottleNet will pay you $1,000 for your trouble. And after the first 30 days, no contracts, they're month to month. Check out ThrottleNet online. Use the 97.1 connection, throttlenet.com/971. Throttlenet.com/971. Get started today.
Tune into the Del Walmsley Radio Show. Del, self-made millionaire and founder of Lifestyles Unlimited, will show you how to live the life of your dreams and pay for it with passive income.
Listen to the Del Walmsley Radio Show this Saturday afternoon from 1 to 2 p.m. on 97.1 FM Talk.
For details and a list of all station contest rules, visit www.971talk.com/rules. This is where St. Louis comes to talk. 97.1 FM Talk. Join the conversation digitally. Download the Odyssey app and tune into the #1 talk station in St. Louis at any time. 97.1 FM Talk is now streaming on the Odyssey app. It's your home for streaming The Marc Cox Show, Brian Kilmeade, The Annie Fry Show, and Mark Reardon on your phone. The Odyssey app for streaming 97.1 FM Talk. This is The Annie Fry Show. KFTK FM Florissant, driven by the Bomarito Automotive Group, 97.1 FM Talk.
An Odyssey station.
A familiar suspect on Lisa Brady, Fox News. The White House says it's talking to Russia
after a cyber attack on the world's largest meat supplier, JBA USA. The FBI is investigating what's now being called a ransomware attack, just weeks after a criminal group with Russian links was blamed for an attack on a major pipeline in the U.S.
Some U.S.-based plants are closed and shifts are being canceled. It's unclear yet how the cyber attack will affect meat supplies, but JBA USA warns there could be delays in transactions with customers and suppliers. Operations have been suspended in Australia, and JBA's beef plant in Canada is closed.
Fox's Rachel Sutherland, the company says it's working to restore systems and that its backup servers were not affected. President Biden and Russian President Vladimir Putin are scheduled to have their first meeting just over 2 weeks from now, a day after a report in Denmark accusing the U.S. of spying on European leaders nearly a decade ago. The White House says it will work with allies and European partners to address any questions. The Danish state broadcaster DR, citing the results of a 2015 investigation, said the NSA used a partnership with Denmark's foreign intelligence unit to spy on senior officials from countries including Germany's chancellor. Alcohol prices in the U.S. might be going up because of a trade dispute, but apparently not yet.
EU tariffs on U.S. alcohol were supposed to double today to 50%. The European Union slapped tariffs on U.S. alcohol some months ago. This is this trade dispute over aluminum and steel tariffs here. Let's say you have 4 bottles of Kentucky bourbon. They already had the 25% tariff, so 25% right there. So that's like buying 5. But then 50% they were supposed to go up today. That gets you to 6 bottles right there. They have held that off for the time being.
Fox's Chad Pergram, the U.S. retaliated with tariffs on Scotch and Irish whiskey as part of a trade dispute over Airbus. America is listening to Fox News.
Looking for a way to pay for that new home improvement you've been waiting for? Ready to consolidate credit card debt at a lower interest rate? Figure offers multiple loan options that can help you improve your finances. From mortgage refinances to home equity lines and personal loans, Figure can help you find the loan that's right for you. Figure takes all the stress and hassle out of the process. Apply 100% online at Figure.com and see your new rate in a few clicks. Figure out your finances at Figure.com. Figure Lending LLC. Equal Opportunity Lender. NMLS 1717824. Terms and conditions apply.
Want the truth on why I wake up looking so darn awesome? I take care of my skin. Not just my face, but more intimate skin. And when you've got incontinence, you sure need to.
Tena Intimates pads lock liquid in and are now 100% breathable to care for your intimate skin, day or night. Tena Intimates are now endorsed by the Skin Health Alliance. Visit tenasample.com for your free sample. Kind to skin, protects like Tena.
Air Comfort Service heating and cooling weather with Chief Meteorologist Dave Murray.
Tuesday afternoon, clouds dominate. There'll be a few showers from time to time, but nothing steady, nothing heavy. But be ready for a shower or two. 69-70 tonight. Cloudy skies, couple of scattered showers. 58 Wednesday. Clouds again dominate. A couple of showers, maybe a rumble of thunder. Let's focus on the afternoon hours. 75 for the high. This is 97.1 FM Talk. Chief Meteorologist Dave Murray.
Spring is a great time to upgrade the energy efficiency in your home with new windows. Marc Cox here from my friends at Window World. I'm a satisfied customer. You will be too. Call them today for a free home estimate. They'll show you why they are simply the best for less. Window World windows are so durable. They stand behind their windows with a lifetime warranty that covers all parts and glass breakage and labor. They were ranked #1 in windows sold in the country by Qualified Remodeler magazine, and they're the preferred window of the St. Louis Blues. Window World does great work, as they did in my home when they replaced 2 large bathroom windows. They measured them, they built them, and got them installed in no time. You will love working with my friends over at Window World. They're now offering 18 months, same as cash financing with approved credit. Call them today at 314-993-1800, 993-1800, or windowworld.com.
2020 was a challenging year, but things are looking up, including the stock market's performance. But will it last? Hi, I'm Ken Moray, Senior Advisor at Retirement Planners of America. If you are 50 or older, call us today to schedule a free consultation to learn more about our Invest and Protect strategy that is designed to help mitigate the risk of the stock market. Call us today at 800-375-1159 to schedule your free assessment. That's 800-375-1159.
According to the National Institutes of Health, 30% of hospital admissions in older adults are drug-related, like taking meds at the wrong time. Hero Health simplifies medication management. The smart device stores up to 90 days worth of up to 10 different pills. It dispenses them at the push of a button. Try Hero risk-free for 30 days and get free contactless delivery. Just call 800-420-7550. That's 800-420-7550. 800-420-7550. Hero, medication managed.
As can be expected, St. Louis weather is weird and it's chilly over Memorial Day weekend, and you might not be thinking about your HVAC system. I want to tell you right now might be the best time to be thinking about your air conditioning unit. Is it going to be working correctly when the time comes for you to turn it on and rely on it in the St. Louis heat? 314-513-0091. That's 314-513-0091. Reach out to Air Comfort Service today to get on a maintenance plan, a regularly scheduled tune-up, so you don't have to think about it when the weather gets bad, because honestly, that's what everybody thinks about it. Get in while the getting's good so you don't have to wait. They will turn around a really quick visit for you. If it's an emergency, they do that too, 24/7, holidays, everything. Air Comfort Service is there to make sure that you are in your comfort zone. If you do a maintenance plan with Air Comfort Service, the maintenance plan started just $15 a month, and if you pay monthly, you get your 12th month free. Get in your comfort zone with an air conditioner tune-up from Air Comfort Service Heating and Cooling. 314-513-0091, aircomfortservice.com.
Diabetes, high blood pressure, anxiety meds, everyone's on them. If you're a 50-year-old male, maybe a bit porky, and you may even have type 2 diabetes, $1 million of term insurance may only cost you about $200 a month. Call Term Provider. Speak with Big Lou at 800-777-1979. Big Lou will find a term life policy for you even if you have type 2 diabetes, are overweight, or have high blood pressure. Term Provider has helped thousands of people like you who think they can't afford term life insurance. To buy $1 million of affordable term life for you, all you need to do is call Big Lou at 800-777-1979. Lou will make sure the scales are tipped in your favor. Call 800-777-1979. Big Lou will answer your call and work to fit you into a term life policy that you can afford. Remember, Big Lou's like you. He's on meds too. Call 800-777-1979. 800-777-1979.
Radio.com is now Odyssey. Download the Odyssey app to listen to 97.1 FM Talk and find content that moves you. The Odyssey app for 97.1 FM Talk on the go. The Annie Fry Show is sponsored by Forensic IT, the tech experts that find the root cause of your technical problems. ForensicIT.com.
That is exactly what I needed to hear.
Thank God someone here knows what they're talking about.
That's us. That's right. Gotta love this American ride.
Right, you need to take the time and get the full picture.
Come on, turn the radio on. It's Saturday and I won't be long.
Don't get me wrong. I love the ladies. I mean, they rev my engine, but they don't belong in the newsroom. It is Anchor Man, not Anchor Lady.
What do you want from me? I'm not America's sweetheart.
Goodness sake, kid. Keep your voice down. Your father's listening to the radio.
I'm not America's sweetheart.
This is the Annie Fry Show.
And yes, I think a lot of people have egg on their face. This was an idea that was first put forward by Mike Pompeo, Secretary of State, Donald Trump. And look, some things may be true even if Donald Trump said them. And because Trump was saying so much else that was just out of control, and because he was, making a frankly racist appeal, talking about Kung flu and the China virus, his notion that put forward that this may have, or that he said flatly that this came from that lab, was widely dismissed. But actually, there's some real reason. We don't know, by the way. We still don't know. We absolutely don't know. But now serious people are saying it needs a serious inquiry.
That's John Carl talking about with ABC on This Week, saying some things may be true, even if Donald Trump said them. And he did just cite the China virus, which is funny because I'm seeing a lot of things about like the Indian variant right now. And it's like, come again? What? Wait, what? What kind of person are you? You should be ashamed of yourself. The Indian variant, you racist person, you. China virus is intent, part of the conversation, maybe should be. But to suggest that some things may be true, even if Donald Trump said them, if you're going to let that water come through that crack, I have a feeling you've got a flood coming in the next couple of years. Somebody who's been watching this very closely probably has an opinion or two on the subject. Marc Cox joins us.
The conservative so-called is the one that says less government. Get off my back.
I'm the best there is at what I do. I'm a lying dog-faced pony soldier.
I wouldn't make it a habit calling me that, son.
And that's the bottom line.
Marc Cox, it could be true. Just because Donald Trump said it doesn't automatically imply that it's a lie. How's that hit you?
So I wonder if Jonathan Karl, actually took his kerchief and tied it around his neck before eating crow there. Do any of them appreciate in any way just how foolish they sound, Annie, to now say, oh, wait a minute, we only dismissed that because it was Donald Trump. But now that some serious people are saying it, we have to consider whether or not it's true.
Yeah.
It just rips the shroud off of whatever, whatever little bit of decency that the left had in the media. It just rips it off.
We're speaking with Marc Cox of the Marc Cox Morning Show weekdays 5 to 9 right here on 97.1. It occurred to me, and some ungodly hour of the night last night while I was scrolling through Twitter, not sleeping, that we've looked at the origin of COVID. It's a news story now because it's really news. It was then. They covered it up. And clearly because of politics. I mean, for John Karl to say this out loud and this to be a clip that's going to be played over and over and over again today and in the days to come is a real admission. It is the proverbial quiet part out loud. And I'm really curious, why is it that you can look on party lines and you can see which party wants to know where this virus came from and finds that information of value and wants to get to the origin, get to the bottom of it, find the truth, find the facts, expose what's real, and present it to the American people. In the same vein, you can tell what side of the aisle somebody is on with the January 6th Commission. People want to get to the bottom of it and expose what happened and show the truth to the American people. One of those is okay and one of those is not, and it really depends on if you vote R or D on how you feel on both of those issues.
We need a Wuhan commission, and maybe they can do a sidebar on where the Indian variant came from. You're right. To your point, I mean, I don't. The January 6th commission idea is simply something to batter Republicans about the head and shoulders for the rest of time. That's all that's about. This is so serious. I heard somebody say the other day, I won't take credit for it, that if it ends up that this virus was man-made, that through gain-of-function research, it escaped from a lab in Wuhan. And for all we know, American taxpayer dollars, courtesy of Anthony Fauci, may have played some role in some of this research. That's part of what needs to be investigated. It would be the biggest man-made disaster in modern history. You'd have a death toll of about 3.5 million people, I believe, worldwide, who would have died as a result of this, Annie. I mean, that whatever happened on January 6th, the so-called unarmed, attempted coup of the United States government, the worst planned event in the history of mankind, if that's exactly what it was, which we all know it wasn't. That's not a candle in the wind compared to the tragedy that was created potentially by scientists at a lab in Wuhan, China. And Anthony Fauci and everybody involved in this, this has got to be investigated. We have to get an answer to this one way or the other.
Mark, if I feel like the commission, the search into that, I think more Americans would be interested in how that developed, especially knowing at least Rodney Davis, when he was on my show in January, said that he had been briefed about threats to the Capitol the day before. Kind of hard for Donald Trump to take a stage the day of and incite some sort of storming of the castle when the day before Congress people were being told there's threats here and we should take them seriously. And you've got Nancy Pelosi telling the Capitol Police to stand down. If we could trust and everybody stop laughing at me. If we could trust our government to look into this and give us some facts, there'd probably be more people interested in finding out what the bottom of the truth is here. But nobody takes that seriously. Everybody knows that this is a political endeavor. And, you look at, there was some tragedy that existed, of course, behind what took place on January 6th. You were there. You were on the outside, not in the Capitol building, but you saw with your own eyes the many people who were peacefully there. To the same extent, when you look into Wuhan, this has caused how many people so far to perish? If they could figure out a way to tie Americans to the existence of this virus and crucify America over this because we're such a terrible country to begin with, I think they'd be more willing to run with that story than to threaten the Chinese. And that raises my eyebrows significantly.
They would absolutely do that, Andy. You're right. Yeah, I was there. I was on the ground. I was watching this unfold, wondering. I mean, everything I did on Facebook Live, so people can go back and hear every single word that came out of my mouth as I was standing there watching with awe and wonder at why the Capitol Police were hurling flashbangs and pepper spray at the people that were outside. I mean, I didn't understand what was going on at the time. Finding out that the Capitol Police were warned several days in advance, we know that now. You're right. That would be the reason. That would be something that would have to be investigated, except that they're not going to pick 5 members that are Democrats and 5 members that are Republicans who have any intention of getting to the truth. The 5 Republicans they would pick would probably be Mitt Romney and Adam Kinzinger and Liz Cheney, and that would be at least 3 of the 5 that I can think of off the top of my head. Whatever we find out about what went on in Wuhan, that shouldn't be a party issue. It will be. Politics will rear its ugly head in this. But the world should be upset about this. This is nothing the UN could investigate either, because that's a professional debate society. This is something that, like a criminal prosecutor, somebody with prosecutorial skills, almost like what we did after World War II, the Nuremberg trials should be held for what happened in Wuhan if there's evidence that the Chinese knew about this and covered it up.
We're speaking with Marc Cox, the Marc Cox Morning Show. You can go back in time on the Marc Cox Morning Show Facebook page and see some of those videos that Marc took while he was there. I'd encourage you to like the Facebook page as well. You can watch his show as well each morning. I want to play for you a clip here from Paul Ryan about the future of the party.
Once again, we conservatives find ourselves at a crossroads. And here's the reality that we have to face. If the conservative cause depends on the populist appeal of one personality or of second-rate imitations, then we're not going anywhere. Voters looking for Republican leaders want to see independence and mettle.
So a cult of personality or a second-rate imitation. He didn't say the T word there, but he's obviously talking about Trump. I get tired of Donald Trump being the gravity center for everything that anybody ever talks about, ever. He was a successful first-term president. If he ran again, I think his policies would quickly get this country back on track. But I also am not married to the idea that he's the only be-all, end-all of the future of the Republican Party. I'm curious how you think that the Paul Ryans of the world and a few of those Republicans that you listed off before meld together with the hardcore Trump contingent of the Republican Party to make sure that in 2022 and eventually 2024, we get this country back in order.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I think they need Trump, Annie. They need him as the bad guy. They need him as the punching bag to kind of hold up. What scares them is that there are other people who've gone to school on what he did. I mean, the reason the paradigm shifted is pretty simple. Donald Trump was an outsider. He didn't have to raise a bunch of money from influential sources to get him in office. He was beholden to no one, and he tried to do what he told people he was going to go there and do. Now, you may not agree with everything that he tried to do, but at the end of the day, conservatives looked at that and said, listen, here's a guy who at one point rubbed elbows with progressive Democrats in New York City for 25 years. He contributed money to some of them. But at the end of the day, he did more for the conservative movement in his 4 short years than anybody since Ronald Reagan, in my opinion. We've listened to the John McCain wing of the party. We've listened to the Mitt Romney wing of the party, and they were abject failures. And Paul Ryan is absolutely a product of that wing of the Republican Party. So they need Donald Trump to be the bad guy, in my opinion. That what they don't realize is it's not about Donald Trump anymore. I mean, I hope that he's involved in whatever happens next. Don't get me wrong. He has shown us the way to more effective leadership in Washington. He has. He didn't play the games, right? He didn't say the right things. He didn't read the teleprompter slickly. He did so many things wrong according to the mainstream, but he showed conservatives the path forward. And the fact that you can be effective and you can get things done, and you have to upset the apple cart to do it. It was rude and it was crude at times, but it was effective.
Capital S swamp. I mean, he really defined it. I'm curious real quick before I let you go. The left has worked tirelessly and been very successful in closing him down. I mean, he is not front and center. He doesn't have his Twitter. He doesn't have his Facebook. He doesn't have a real means to be in conversation with the American people right now. Imagine if he did. It almost seems to me like the people who shut him down and shut him up may have made a huge mistake in doing so, because they've marginalized him in a way that other people have been allowed to step up and not fill the hole that Trump leaves, because that's just a gigantic hole to fill. But Trump's not out there reminding everybody about his latest mean tweet at this point in time. And that is the thing that gets under the skin of a lot of these American people who just couldn't stomach it. Do you think that maybe at the end of the day, maybe this was a mistake?
I think a lot of what they've done is a mistake. But you're right. I mean, seeing a Ron DeSantis kind of move to the forefront, Ted Cruz, I mean, who was no fan of Donald Trump when they ran,
Lion Ted,
has done a really good job. And right. Senator Kennedy, although I don't think he has any aspirations for the presidency that I've ever picked up on. All of Rand Paul, all of these guys to some extent have moved forward into the spotlight a little more. And I think you're right. I think they've miscalculated the will of the American people. And hopefully 2022 is going to be a big indicator of that.
Mark, before we let you go, haven't officially formally congratulated you, Grandpa, on the arrival of your new bundle of joy. I am very envious of your daughter and to be able to snuggle that baby. Are. Is it the best? Is it the absolute best?
Oh, Annie, I just can't hardly describe it. I'm smiling from cheek to cheek just talking about little Ashton. He's, it's hard to believe you can fall that much in love with somebody you just met, but it's the greatest thing that I can think of since the birth of our 3 children to begin with. And congratulations to you, because I know that day can't get here soon enough for number 4. Huh?
Oh my gosh. I'm seriously told Katie on the break, I'm timing contractions during the show. So
oh my gosh.
We'll see how it goes. This is a great time to tune into the live stream. See what happens. You never know.
No kidding. Well, congratulations.
All right.
Progress.
Congratulations to you and to your wife and to your daughter and her husband and family. A beautiful baby, healthy, and just a great story. Just very happy for y'all.
Thank you, Annie. Can't wait to see pictures.
Oh, man. Me too. All right. We'll talk to you soon, Mark.
All right. Bye.
Bye-bye. We're going to take a quick break. In this hour, we're going to speak with Rachel Grezler at about 1:40, 1:45. And this is something that I'm very curious. Katie, you and I are going to have a little conversation about this when we come back, because the woke left, Biden's administration, of course. Yeah. You ever see how, they start talking about women's issues and they start talking about how, to empower women. The Biden workforce pushing eclipses women's personal career and family choices. That's the topic she's going to talk about. What does an empowered woman in 2020 look like? What is a woman who really has it all? What does she have in 2021? Katie, what do you have in 2021? You've got it all.
Nothing. No, I'm kidding.
I got a house in the suburbs and a dog. Well, the Biden administration, they have an idea on how to help people like Katie and myself really achieve what has been held back from us for so long by, I don't know, the patriarchy or something. We'll talk about that when we come back, and Rachel Grezler is going to talk about what the administration is trying to do to push us in the way that we should go so that we can have it all. Didn't know that they had a say in that. We'll be right back.
You're listening to the Annie Fry Show.
Come to Shane Company to create a unique engagement ring that captures your love story. Our jewelry consultants will always respect your budget. Now you have a friend in the jewelry business. Shane Company and ShaneCo.com.
You've heard it before, and it's true. The easiest way to freshen up the look in your home or your business is with a new coat of paint. It's Mark Reardon for CertaPro Painters, and with CertaPro, it's even better. You don't have to do the work yourself. Each CertaPro Painters business is independently owned and operated. These are local painting crews in our area. They do business and residential, whether you need interior or exterior work. You can trust CertaPro to deliver top-notch results every time. That's why I've hired them time and time again. Your free estimate is just a couple of clicks away at CertaPro.com. That's Certa with a C. CertaPro Painters.
The Med Spa at the Institute of Natural Health understands how difficult it is to maintain healthy skin and how much this can affect someone's life. With the right combination of treatments and products, they can help you keep your skin looking healthy and more youthful, while also reducing and preventing damage. Take your first step towards healthy skin at the Med Spa at the Institute of Natural Health. Visit them at inhstl.com or call to schedule at 314-293-8123. That's 314-293-8123.
It's very important for me to partner with good people that I can tell you about, who you can support, who support us here on 97.1. That's the way this works. Obviously, when you turn on the radio, you don't have to put a quarter in the slot or anything. Don't put a quarter in any slots in your radio. That won't end well. But we have people who sponsor us and make it so that we can do this thing for you, and it doesn't cost you anything. Well, Christy and JT Monsheen are wonderful people. They are great sponsors of the show, but they're also the very best at what they do. When you are looking to sell a home, when you are looking to buy a home, you need the Monsheen team. It's the monsheenteam.com. I'm going to spell it for you real quick. The MONSCHEIN team.com. You can connect with them at 636-537-8288. The Monsheen team has the ins and outs of how to navigate through this real estate market right now. It is unique. It is new, and they are the experts at it. You'll be surprised what your home is worth in this market. If you've even considered selling, call the Monsheen team at 636-537-8288, the number one agents for Berkshire Hathaway Alliance Real Estate since 2005. 636-537-8288, themonsheenteam.com.
Hey, it's Mark Reardon from my friends at Zero Res. Welcome to June. That is the official start of summer. Now raise your hand if it means you have a list you have to tackle this summer. The good news is you're not alone, and nobody knows that better than my cleaning heroes at Zero Res. Summer is probably the best time to call Zero Res to get all the nasty dirt, dander, and grime out of your home. This is kind of nasty. Speaking of nasty, did you know that the average home takes in over 40 pounds of dust and dirt a year? So your carpet is the biggest air filter in your home, so it needs some summer loving to keep it fresh and clean. This month's Mark Reardon 97.1 special, 3 rooms of carpet cleaned and sanitized, starting at just $129. This will be the easiest chore on your to-do list this summer because Zero Res does all the work. Don't forget about those air ducts. This month, get $50 off your air duct cleaning. The certified team at Zero Res is going to use their negative air 12-step cleaning process to extract all the crud out of the ducts. Call today. Book an appointment, 474-2020. Make sure you mention my name. Online, ZeroResSTL.com. You spell it backward or forward, it spells the same. Zero Res.
I lost 46 pounds in 8 weeks with the help of Andro 400, having tons of energy, not feeling tired or feeling at the end of the day that my feet are dragging. I would very strongly recommend it to anybody that feel they need to cut down on their weight or who doesn't have enough energy. Absolutely.
That's fantastic, Joe. And congratulations on losing 46 pounds in 8 weeks with the help of Andro 400. Guys, check out Joe's before and after pictures on andro400.com. Since 2004, men have chosen Andro 400 for one reason: results. Andro 400 can help you safely and effectively lose belly fat, gain energy, and boost your testosterone. We guarantee it. Order today and get free shipping and special discounts available only on andro400.com. andro400.com. That's andro400.com.
The Marc Cox Morning Show.
You voted for this. And now we're seeing the fruits of that labor. Free everything.
The Marc Cox Morning Show, weekdays from 5 to 9 on 97.1 FM Talk.
Turn the quiet up, turn the noise down. Let this old world just spin around. I wanna feel it sway, wanna feel it sway. Put some feel good in my soul. Drink a little drink, smoke a little smoke. Want a little more right and a little less left. A little more right now, a little less what's next. Act like tomorrow's 10 years away.
Like I again just tell a lot of people I mentor, I eat no for breakfast. So have I been told many times during my career, things from, oh, you're too young, it's not your turn, they're not ready for you, no one like you has done it before. I've heard all of those things many times over the course of my career, but I didn't listen. And I would encourage anyone who's been told that, whatever their gender, to not listen, because again, don't be encumbered by the inability of others to see the potential of who you are.
So Vice President Harris, they're talking about, how she got to be the Vice President of the United States. I mean, I'm not going to go into detail, but there are stories about how she has moved through her political career that aren't exactly, in my opinion, ones that I would want to post all over in posters in my daughter's room and be like, you too could be like Kamala Harris if you just
XYZ.
She says, I eat no for breakfast. So you can, go to your local grocery store and get Kamala Harris's Cheerio No's and eat them for breakfast too. Katie, you've grown up in the 21st century for the most part, born in the mid 90s. And, our parents and our grandparents, let's say our mothers and our grandmothers, grew up in a different era where women's expectations, certainly, like I had a working mom. She was always full-time working. I always had a dual income working situation in growing up. My parents both worked. And there was never I feel like in the 80s, there was that women's movement, this empowerment for women to choose career. If you want to choose career, you can be a mom and you can have a career. I mean, men are doing it. Obviously, men are parents and they have careers. Women should be able to do that too. And it seems to me somewhere along the way, it was like, that is the way that women have it all. And somewhere along the way, the feminist push to encourage women to have it all became decision-making for women to tell them the definition of what having it all is and what you need to do in order to fulfill that. So much so that motherhood and parenting it's almost as if the suggestion that a woman could be fully fulfilled by, air quotes, folks, not my words, just being a mother and not being an employee or a business mogul or whatever, that there is a concession that is involved and that women need to understand that they don't have to be that way.
Mm-hmm.
Katie, you born in the mid 90s, grown up in the 21st century. Have you gone through life experiencing what Kamala Harris is saying there, where people are telling you, no, you can't do this. It's not your time yet. You need to know your place. Or have you been in a position where you feel as though your gender has been something that has been the centermost part of holding you back?
No. I mean, absolutely not. I don't know. And again, thank you to my grandma, my great grandma, my mom, everyone that came before me that helped pave the way so that I don't have to live in a world where my gender is absolutely everything. And that is what dictates whether I get a job or not, or anything for that matter. I feel like it's crazy because whenever you're told that you can't do something, I don't think it's necessarily based on your gender. I think it's based on your attitude. I think it's based on your work ethic. I think it's based on, can you show up to work on time? I think it's based on these very basic principles of your ambition and how you operate as a human being. It's based on your personality. And if someone says to me, Katie, you know what? I just don't really think you have what it takes. This, and this don't line up with this criteria that we're looking for. Well, then you push yourself harder. They're not saying it because of my gender. They're saying it maybe because I just don't have what they need, the skill set that they need right now. Push yourself and be harder. It's about your mindset and mentality and personality, I think.
Yeah. And the idea of the women's movement, feminism, initially, I am very grateful for the initial feminist push.
Absolutely.
Because I get to vote. I get to have an equal voice at the table that is present because my voice counts. And my gender doesn't exclude me from that. I'm going to tell you this. I am a millennial. I'm in my late 30s. Gosh, I can't believe I just said it was late 30s. This is a geriatric pregnancy. I can't forget that. I'm 37 years old. And in the world of conservative talk media, which is probably what most people would lump me into, conservative talk radio, there aren't a lot of people who are like me doing this. But what makes me valuable or not valuable is my brain. And my ability to articulate my thoughts to you and hope to God that you find it interesting and compelling, whether you agree with it or not, that you listen to the conversations we have here and you want to listen more. It is free to listen. It is free to not listen. There are a million options out there. And I know that every minute that you spend with the Annie Fry Show or with 97.1 is a choice that you're making. None of that has to do with me being a woman. I am a woman. I'm a lot of other things. But because I'm a woman doesn't make me more valuable if I don't have the brains and the ability to communicate to you something that is worthy of your time, not my time, your time, whether you're man, woman, old, young, black, white, red, whatever the colors are that we do and don't say. This is a situation where I have to provide a product that somebody wants. And no part of my gender is going to be more compelling if I suck at my job. That's just the way it is. I'm going to tell you right now that as a woman, the most powerful thing that I'm going to do in my lifetime, specifically in this year, is, at the other end of these contractions that I'm timing right now, that the idea of me being a woman, the thing that makes me be able to bring life into this world, I am proud of that. I'm not saying anything about anybody else who chooses to identify one way or the other, but I should be able to be proud of being a woman who can bring life into the world. And it is a freaking hard thing to do. It is uncomfortable and it is difficult and it is rough, but it is powerful. And because I am a woman, I get to do that. That's where, as a woman, I can flex my muscles because I get to do that and I get to be that. But there's really no other element of my life where I feel like my womanhood needs to be the preceding conversation to any success or failure that I have. How good am I at it? How bad am I at it? Katie, how good are you at being a producer on a top-rated talk show in, St. Louis, and you're 8 years younger than me? I mean, you've got two women who are running the show right now. That's a really cool thing, but that's not what makes us good at our job. It's the fact that we work our tails off, regardless of all the other things that are going on in the world. And if we were men and we were doing this and we were successful, that would be as commendable as it is if we're women. And we're supposed to listen to Kamala Harris here talk about how she's, heard no her whole life, to suggest that her femininity or her womanhood has somehow held her back. She is the vice president of the United States of America. So it couldn't have been that terrible. You have overcome, I'm sure, many hardships, many circumstances that were difficult, as anybody does. But look what you've done. Look what you've accomplished. Please do not create an environment in this country right now where my daughter, my daughters, listen to that and absorb your victimhood mentality, because my girls are not ever going to be victims. Have you met them?
I have to say something very strange about that interview. For some reason, Kamala reminded me so much of Hillary Clinton. Like the way she was dressed and the things that she was saying, but specifically in the clip, all I heard was Hillary Clinton. Like that's all I kept hearing. And I don't know why, but it's just this. I feel this is probably not the most important part of that clip, but the no's are also very important for us to hear.
Yeah.
It's also really, really insanely beneficial to be told no and to work your butt off to get that yes. And so, okay, yeah, you might eat the no's for breakfast. I get it. But those no's are, whether you are a man or a woman, those help build your character into being a better person, to being a smarter person, to being a more efficient person. So that when you get that yes, it is so unbelievably satisfying because you did it on your merit.
Do men ever hear no?
I guess they just never hear no.
Yeah, and you know, if a man hears no with some consistency, what qualifies their gender as being the precursor to hearing no? I mean, what do you what value do you offer if your absence causes a hole that can't be filled? I don't think it matters what gender you are. You have to work your tail off every day, and you have to offer something that is irreplaceable regardless of your gender. And you hustle. And I gotta say, listening to the constant, whether it's gender or race or whatever it is, socioeconomic conversations that remind people of their victimhood without empowering them to shed that victimhood is a toxic way to raise the future of our country. I'm sure not doing it with my kids, but like I said, have you met them? All right, we're going to take a quick break. We're going to have this conversation with Rachel Grezler of Heritage Foundation, who is talking about how Biden's workforce is pushing women's personal career and family choices because, you know, they know better. That's what Democrats do. They just know better. You just haven't heard what your best future is yet because you haven't asked a Democrat. Well, we're going to ask Rachel for her reaction here in a minute. Don't go away.
Change my cause, but my definition of change just ain't the
This is the Annie Fry Show.
I'm gonna sit around here, stay away from there.
You're listening to the Annie Fry Show live from the Air Comfort Service Heating and Cooling Studio. Get in your comfort zone this summer with 0% financing for 72 months and utility rebates on qualifying new HVAC systems. For details, visit aircomfortservice.com.
Home warranty. I know, right? Buying coverage for appliances, your heater and AC, etc. from a company that hopes you never ever have a claim or call. Let me introduce you to a real home warranty company, the kind that actually wants to help you. Upkeep Home Warranty and Maintenance. Upkeep visit your home 4 times a year to maintain your appliances and equipment. You will never get a lack of maintenance denial because Upkeep does the maintenance. Also nice, Upkeep assigns you one point person to help you. You won't be passed around like an office hot potato, and you won't get subcontractors. Upkeep does all their work, so there's no blame game. Just experts helping you. Visit upkeepstl.com today and type in 971 for $100 off. Don't be denied. Instead, be relieved. Upkeep Home Warranty and Maintenance, 636-387-7331.
Keep up your home with Upkeep. Keep up your home with Upkeep. Keep up your home with Upkeep, and you'll have a happy home.
When you work with Lakeside Renovation and Design for your interior remodel, big or small, or your exterior remodel, big or small, you are working with the best that St. Louis has to offer. And when I say that, I'm talking about the business as a whole, but I'm also talking about the very people who are going to come to your home, come into your home, and spend time there working on making your dream kitchen come true, or finally doing the renovation in that master bath that you've always dreamt of, or potentially adding on a 3 seasons room, a 4 seasons room, maybe a screened in porch. If you have a big project or a small project and you want the best to come in, somebody who you know you can trust at your home, you need to call Lakeside Renovation and Design. They've been doing this for decades with a lifetime workmanship warranty on top of the manufacturer's warranty. They are confident in their ability to deliver to you the satisfaction that you need. 636-978-5000 is the number to call to get the conversation started today. 636-978-5000. You can look them up online at lakesidrenovationanddesign.com.
Business is difficult right now, putting a lot of good workers at risk. If you're a business that needs flexibility with your workforce and don't want to lose your best employees, go to sharedwork.mo.gov and see what the Missouri Department of Labor can do for you.
Hi, this is Lance Drury. If you have payroll tax problems, you have serious legal problems, you need an attorney. Call 314-260-6120 or toll free 888-367-6512 or visit lancedrurylaw.com.
If you're considering an annuity as part of your retirement plan, we need to talk. Hi, I'm Bob Stockdale, Senior Vice President Investments with the ClearPath Wealth Management Group at Stifel, and host of On the Money, heard every Saturday morning at 11 on 97.1 FM Talk. Annuities can be a useful tool for some retirement investors, but not all annuities are created equal. Nearly every week, our team meets with clients who own complex annuities that don't suit their needs and in some cases actively undermine their retirement plan. Before you purchase an annuity, get a second opinion on your retirement plan today. When you work with us at the ClearPath Wealth Management Group, we're committed to providing you with guidance that's in your best interest, no exceptions. To request your free consultation, contact us at bobstockdale.com. That's bobstockdale.com. Again, that's bobstockdale.com. Stifel Nicholas and Company Incorporated, member SIPC and NYSE.
The Marc Cox Morning Show.
There's a 20-mile stretch of highway in Oklahoma that is going to be named after former President Trump.
Because they're an outer road so the liberals can get off and take the outer road. You can take the Joe Biden bypass.
Come on.
Weekday mornings 5 to 9.
I'm not gonna lay around and whine and moan, 'cause somebody done me wrong.
Continue with your ambition and don't apologize for it. And continue to believe that you can do whatever you want to do, but also know you have a right to expect things like affordable childcare. You have a right to expect paid family leave when you need to take care of your children or your elderly parents. That you have a right to expect that you will be seen in the full dimension of who you are and your responsibilities.
It's hard for me to even understand what she is talking about right there. Seen in the full dimension of what? Your responsibility. Okay, whatever. You know, when you hear somebody like Vice President Kamala Harris talking about what women should expect, you got to ask yourself, should expect from whom? The answer is government, because she's in government. That's what her representation in this conversation is. The Biden administration has spent a lot of time playing in the sandbox of different types of demographical expectations that people should have here in this country. And Rachel Grezler with the Heritage Foundation, she's a research fellow in economics, budget, and entitlements at Heritage Foundation, has written a piece on this, and it was very compelling to me. Rachel, welcome to the show. It's a pleasure to have you here with us.
Thanks for having me, Annie.
Of course. I'm going to just read the first sentence here from your piece, and it says, this is compelling to me. I'm expecting my fourth child right now. Your first paragraph is, as a working woman and a mother with 6 young children, I'm concerned that President Joe Biden is focusing too much on getting women into the workforce and too little on supporting women's personal pursuits. So I feel you, people, when they find out that I'm having my fourth, they're like, wow, 4. So I'm sure you've probably heard that with 6 kiddos yourself, but in the conversation surrounding what you can expect from your government, you see the Biden administration, including Kamala Harris here, discussing what women should be expecting. How much attention are they paying to what women actually want?
I think there's very little attention to what women actually want, because we are seeing these questions about what should you expect from your government? That's really what should you expect other people to have to sacrifice their incomes, their opportunities in order to support certain choices that politicians think are right for you. What we really should be asking is what opportunities and freedom should you expect for your government? Because that's the government's correct role here. And there's just too much value being placed on women's wages and them participating in the labor force. I think that this is really insulting to tens of millions of women who make conscious decisions to either not work or to work fewer hours or to work in different jobs so that they can spend more time at home raising children. We've seen President Biden, both in the State of the Union and in his American Families Plan, say that childcare and paid family leave are investments in children, yielding these positive returns. And yet there is no mention of the investment that men and women make when they decide to spend time at home raising their children. Somehow, if a parent drops out of the workforce or reduces their hours, that's a consequence. And I think that is just wrong to discount the extreme value for individuals and for society, because we have seen in places where they have made these, quote, investments in children through subsidized childcare. Quebec did this, $5 per day childcare. They saw a big increase in the younger number of young mothers who went to full-time work or took their children out of friends and family care and put them in more institutionalized government childcare. And there were severe consequences in family relationships, in mental and physical health, and even in crime rates from children who were exposed to these programs.
We're speaking with research fellow in economics, budget, and entitlements at Heritage Foundation, Rachel Grezler, on this important issue. You know, you look at the politics that surround an issue like this. You know, there's always a bunch of politics, people trying to push and pull the tug of war on who's going to win on a particular issue. And very often the people tied around the center of that rope, they're getting jerked back and forth, and nothing is actually happening to benefit them. We've seen feminism grow and evolve in this country over the course of time, where women were given the opportunity to have a seat at the table. And then quickly that idea of having it all gets defined by people who aren't actually the people who want to have it all, or have it all at home, or have it all at work. What kind of pressure do women have right now to show up and you know, match this idea, this feministic ideal that the Kamala Harris's, the Biden administration of the world are pushing on people through these policies?
Yeah, and I mean, speaking from the heart here, it's never easy to strike the right balance between work and family and other personal and professional pursuits. And there's no one formula that we can say, here's the pathway that works for every individual across every stage of life. And, you know, I don't really like the message that you can have it all, because I think there's this version of all as, you know, this career woman who's sitting at the top of the ranks and also this mother. And I don't think you can have it all, but the great thing is that you can have what you want. And so I want to encourage more women to pursue what they think is best for them. And the great thing, I think, a silver lining of COVID is that it's going to open up more opportunities for women to pursue more flexible career and family balances, including more flexible childcare situations. You know, employers are going to be forced to not only accommodate remote work, but to be more in tune to individuals' personal and family situations. I'm certain we're going to see more paid family leave coming from the private sector out of this. And so I actually think that the narrative is the opposite of what we hear, with this being a she session and setting women back decades. I think it's going to propel women forward in a way that works better for them. And that might not mean that their wages are going to go up, but it will mean that they have more options to do what they think is best for them and their families.
Heritage Foundation's Rachel Grezler with us right now. You know what I hear you saying, and I value this so much, specifically because the position that I'm in right now, I said I'm expecting my fourth. I'm 37 and a half weeks pregnant, and I was saying a little bit earlier in the show,
wow,
timing contractions here through
Congratulations.
the show.
I'm
gosh, counting the days. And you know what I hear you saying is that different people, not different genders, yes, but different people value different things. And the time spent at home, I'm going to be out here for 12 weeks when I have this baby. My paycheck could be altered if people don't want to stick with the show, while I'm gone. I am coming back. I can't wait to get back, but it is important for me to make that decision to spend time with my newborn, because that is the most valuable thing to me. That doesn't really translate on a spreadsheet or paper, does it? You know, if you're looking at your bottom line. And it seems to me that the politics behind this leftist agenda of pushing women into the workforce and trying to provide everything that is needed to have women in the workforce takes away a woman's right to value that time spent at home more than they value the dollar that they may gain or lose in the absence of being in the workforce. And that seems like it would be a very detrimental mentality.
Right. I think it's extremely detrimental because you're looking at the short term and what are the wages and what can this woman bring home, as opposed to what can she do at home and what are those outcomes for her children and for your family and for society at large of trying to push children and push families into situations that they wouldn't otherwise choose on their own. There are families who will choose daycare or who have to have daycare because it might be a single parent family, but that should be their choice and not something that the government forces them into. And I just think that this narrative that everybody's worth is a measure of their paycheck is really wrong and will have, extreme consequences on society.
Yeah. And it's kind of like when you put it that way, it's kind of really an anti-progressive way of thinking about things, to value people based on their paycheck. Usually they take it in the other direction.
Well, and there's this, ironic part of it where there's so much value placed on parents being home with their children, but only up until 12 weeks. And then we must push them into subsidized childcare programs and the parents must go back to work. And I just don't, it's black and white. And I don't think that they're recognizing that there are all different kinds of situations that work for all different kinds of workers. And this also pushes over into the agenda to drive out independent work opportunities that are benefiting so many women, whether it's just small scale on Etsy or whether it's, being your own boss, starting your own company. There are so many new ways that women have found a way to balance work and family that works for them. And they're trying to take those opportunities away also.
Well, we're going to share this article with our listeners in this conversation as well. Rachel, it's a pleasure to speak with you. Thank you for coming on the show. We look forward to having you back again soon.
Thank you, and good luck with number 4.
Thank you. Appreciate that very much. Anytime now, anytime would do. Rachel Grezler is a research fellow at Heritage Foundation. Good talk there, talking about what empowers women. It sure as heck ain't the government, folks. Quick break. When we come back, Dakota Wood is going to talk to us about Russia threatening unpleasant signals to the United States. That sounds frightening. In just a minute, don't go away.
Rhino Shield is far superior to even the best traditional exterior house paint. Rhino Shield is 8 to 10 times thicker than paint and comes with a 25-year transferable warranty. Rhino Shield is the only ceramic coating company that has been chosen by Disney, This Old House, and 3 times on HGTV's Curb Appeal, where every episode is concentrated on unpainted brick, bonds and seals to stucco, wood, hardy, block, color lock, masonite, and more. No better product for those steel aluminum-sided homes that have become, chalky and tired looking. We coat sloped and flat roofs to extend their lives too. After 15 years, we've got a great reputation and a superior product. As long as it's affordable, why wouldn't you do it? Before you make the costly mistake of painting with traditional paint, you'd be best served to call Rhino Shield today. We are the experts and our evaluations are free. 877-25-RHINO or 877-25rhino.com. Tell them, ladies.
Don't Rhino, go Rhino Shield. Never paint your house again. Rhino Shield.
My friend Stewie at Stewart's American Mortgage is waiting for your phone call. You've been considering it. Don't put it off any longer. Certainly, we do not know what the future holds, but rates are still really low. And when you go with a bagel loan at Stewart's American Mortgage, you don't pay fees that other lenders are going to charge you for. Obviously, when you go to refinance your loan, people are going to get you that lower interest rate. That's going to make a big difference on your monthly payment. But a lot of times it seems cost prohibitive to have to pay thousands of dollars up front in lender's fees if you're purchasing a home and closing costs and title fees. You don't do that with Stewart's American Mortgage. That's the way he set up his business. The fees don't exist. And when you work with Stewie, he can, if you're doing a loan with him, he can close in as early as 2 weeks. Make yourself the most competitive buyer on the market with Stewart's American Mortgage by calling 314-324-4440. That's 314-324-4440. Call his personal cell phone. Tell him you heard about him on the Annie Fry Show, and make sure you let me know how it went. NMLS number 226715.
St. Louis, I'm Ed Jones, and I'm ready to get back to the track for the 5th annual Bommarito Automotive Group 500 at Worldwide Technology Raceway. All the cars and stars of IndyCar will be here to battle it out at 200 miles per hour. That's August 20th and 21st when NTT IndyCar returns to St. Louis. The Bommarito Automotive Group 500, details and exclusive ticket offers at bommarito.com, and I'll see you at the track.
97.1 is your home for content that is uncensored.
Hate crime legislation means nothing except it's fuel for the left in this country when it fits their agenda.
And unafraid.
Right now, it doesn't fit their agenda because the hate crimes you're seeing are against Jews. Let's see a crackdown on that. Well, we're going to crack down on all of it. No. I ask you about
KFTK FM Florissant, driven by the Bommarito Automotive Group, 97.1 FM Talk.
An Odyssey station.
A shooting at a firehouse in California. I'm Lisa Brady, Fox News. Just getting reports from sheriff's officials in Los Angeles County. The shooting happened at a fire department station 81, about 45 miles north of LA, near Santa Clarita. There is no confirmation yet of any injuries or arrests. President Biden is visiting Tulsa, becoming the first president to take part in an annual commemoration of the Tulsa Race Massacre, which wiped out what was then known as Black Wall Street, a white mob attacking and burning the Greenwood neighborhood, destroying thousands of homes and businesses, killing up to 300 people. Today marks 100 years since the two-day assault ended. The White House releasing new details on proposals to help communities of color as part of infrastructure plans.
It includes $10 billion to revitalize Black communities, $15 billion for transportation, $5 billion for affordable housing, $31 billion for small business programs, and a tax credit to attract private investment in affordable housing.
Fox's Jackie Heinrich. The president meets again tomorrow morning with West Virginia Senator Shelley Moore Capito, the lead Republican negotiator in infrastructure talks. A suspect in custody in New York City after an Asian woman was punched in the Chinatown area.
Alexander Wright faces charges of assault and assault as a hate crime for his apparently unprovoked attack that was caught on video. The woman looked to be knocked unconscious. Wright was arrested near the scene and taken for a psychological evaluation. During his COVID briefing, New York City Mayor Bill de Blasio said at the time he had not seen the video, but urged victims and witnesses to come forward.
I certainly am deeply concerned. We've had a spate of horrible attacks against Asian Americans. They're unacceptable.
Wright reportedly has dozens of arrests prior to this assault.
Fox's Gernal Scott. America is listening to Fox News.
Looking for a way to pay for that new home improvement you've been waiting for? Ready to consolidate credit card debt at a lower interest rate? Figure offers multiple loan options that can help you improve your finances. From mortgage refinances to home equity lines and personal loans, Figure can help you find the loan that's right for you. Figure takes all the stress and hassle out of the process. Apply 100% online at Figure.com and see your new rate in a few clicks. Figure out your finances at Figure.com. Figure Lending LLC. Equal Opportunity Lender. NMLS 1717824. Terms and conditions apply.
Want the truth on why I wake up looking so darn awesome? I take care of my skin. Not just my face, but more intimate skin. And when you've got incontinence, you sure need to.
Tenna Intimates pads lock liquid in and are now 100% breathable to care for your intimate skin, day or night. Tenna Intimates are now endorsed by the Skin Health Alliance. Visit tennasample.com for your free sample. Kind to skin, protects like Tenna.
Air Comfort Service heating and cooling weather with Chief Meteorologist Dave Murray.
Tuesday afternoon, clouds dominate. There'll be a few showers from time to time, but nothing steady, nothing heavy. But be ready for a shower or two. 69-70 tonight. Cloudy skies, couple of scattered showers. 58 Wednesday. Clouds again dominate. A couple of showers, maybe a rumble of thunder. Let's focus on the afternoon hours. 75 for the high. This is 97.1 FM Talk. Chief Meteorologist Dave Murray.
Presented by Indeed. If you're hiring this summer, you need Indeed. With Indeed Instant Match, just post a sponsored job, and you'll immediately get a short list of quality candidates whose resumes on Indeed fit your job description. Learn more at Indeed.com/credit.
Hey, it's Mark Reardon for Legacy Box, the effortless way to have your outdated media digitally preserved on a modern format. Think back to when maybe you were married. You have pictures, maybe some videotapes and other things that you haven't seen in years. Wouldn't you like to preserve that? Legacy Box can help. This is an idea, too. You can give the gift of memories this year for an anniversary that you and your spouse will never forget. Do it kind of on the QT. Get some of these videos and pictures and present something amazing. Legacy Box can help you. So it's a very easy process from start to finish. You pack and send. Their team digitizes everything by hand, and then you enjoy. You get back perfectly preserved digital copies on a thumb drive, DVD, or the cloud, ready to watch, share, and enjoy. And Legacy Box is making it very easy for 97.1 listeners, offering 40% off so your family can celebrate meaningful moments at a fraction of the normal price. Go to legacybox.com/Mark and get started today. That's legacybox.com/Mark for 40% off. legacybox.com/Mark.
Have you noticed lately all the mom and pop home buyers popping up everywhere? They all say the same thing, how they'll buy any house in any condition for cash and close quickly. So who should you trust? How about America's #1 home buyer, Homevestors, also known as the We Buy Ugly Houses people? We've purchased over 95,000 houses, ugly or not, since 1996. We can make you an all-cash offer on the spot for your house that you can count on. Call 800-44-BUYER or go to WeBuyUglyHouses.com. Each franchise office is independently owned and operated.
Meridian Waste is currently looking to hire talented CDL drivers for residential, roll-off, and commercial openings at their local office in Floresdale, Missouri. If you're interested in working for a growing company that offers a competitive salary, generous benefits that include paid vacation, please reach out today via phone at 314-227-7012 or email your resume to hr@meridianwaste.com for immediate consideration. Good driving record is a must. New drivers are eligible for a $2,500 sign-on bonus. Call today to secure your future and be home every night with your family.
And I'm proud to be an American.
ACM, CMA, and Grammy Award winner, Lee Greenwood. Doors open at 6:30, shows at 7:30. July 4th, River City Casino and Hotel. Lee Greenwood.
Somebody's gonna love you.
Tickets are on sale now at the box office or online at Ticketmaster.com.
Sweet rock and a heartache.
There's more at LeeGreenwood.com.
Playoff basketball is here, and before you bet on any of the postseason games, you need to check out BetQL. BetQL analyzes every game to help you make the smartest possible bets. Sometimes the spread is off by a few points, or the total is way too high or low. BetQL finds those opportunities so you can take advantage and cash in. Ready to win more consistently? Visit BetQL.com and use promo code PLAYOFFS for 20% off. That's 20% off with promo code PLAYOFFS at BetQL.com.
Odyssey.com is a universe of audio, and it's where you can download the app to stream 97.1 FM Talk. The Odyssey app. Download it today and stream anytime from anywhere. 97.1 FM Talk. The Annie Fry Show is sponsored by Forensic IT, the tech experts that find the root cause of your technical problems. ForensicIT.com.
That is exactly what I needed to hear.
Thank God someone here knows what they're talking about.
That's us. That's right. Gotta love this American ride.
You need to take the time and get the full picture.
Come on, turn the radio on. It's Saturday and I won't be long.
Don't get me wrong, I love the ladies. I mean, they rev my engine, but they don't belong in the newsroom. It is Anchor Man, not Anchor Lady.
What do you want from me? I'm not America's sweetheart.
Goodness sake, kid. Keep your voice down. Your father's listening to the radio.
I'm not America's sweetheart.
This is the Annie Fry Show.
War and conflict, death and loss are not relics of our American history. They're part of the American story. Here in Arlington lie heroes who gave what President Lincoln called the last full measure of devotion. They did not only die at Gettysburg or in Flanders Field or in the beaches of Normandy, but in the mountains of Afghanistan, the deserts of Iraq in the last 20 years. Section 60, when I walk through it, reminds me of the cost of war.
President Biden speaking Memorial Day service, which is definitely an important day for us to recognize, and speaking about those who have lost their lives during this country. I want to get to our guest right now, Senior Research Fellow for Defense Programs at the Heritage Foundation. Dakota Wood joins us. And before we get into the topic right now of what's going on globally with our relationship with Russia and some things that they have said, Dakota, I wanted to give you an opportunity to speak to Memorial Day because I think it's an important topic that we need to not just gloss over on a holiday when we're not all talking about this stuff. Memorial Day to you, Dakota, what would you like to say about it?
Well, I mean, it's, there's a reason for the season, right? It's those who have elected to serve their country in uniform, gone abroad almost in every case, and didn't come home. So for every family that didn't have a husband or a son, a wife, mother, daughter that didn't come back, it's a huge hole. It's a huge hole. And so, the country that we have today, the individual freedoms, the wealth, the ability to travel wherever we want, I mean, all those things aren't there by accident, and it wasn't because of a trade deal or, some kind of diplomatic overture. It's because American men and women volunteered to serve their country, some of whom gave their lives, and it's worth reflecting on what it really means. So these expressions like freedom isn't free, it sounds trite, it's overused, but there is some enduring truth in that. These things don't just come by chance, and we need to keep that in mind, because there is always the danger of forgetting it and then deciding not to make the investments such that we have a military that can protect us from current and future threats. The world just doesn't stop because we've got a beautiful country today. There are other forces in play. And so I think it's a day or a time to think about that for a few moments. And what does it mean to us, and how important is it? And having spent 20 years in the Marine Corps and visit something like 50 countries by now, you see the impact that America can have in very positive ways around the world, and how many countries look to America for an example. And our military is just the dearest reflection of that.
Dakota, I want to ask you about that. Your travels around the world. We're going to talk about Russia here in a minute, but the American idea, what we have here, and what has been preserved by the blood of men and women who have given that sacrifice to preserve that American idea. How do you compare what we are doing here, what we are, pursuing each and every day in the United States of America, compared to these other countries who have a different way of doing things?
Well, it's extraordinary navel gazing on the part of what's going on today, that we're so internally focused and wringing our hands about any evidence of falling short of the ideal of America, without putting that into perspective. You can never achieve perfection, but we always want to be striving toward that. So that part is true. We need to have continued debate about relations in the United States. But when you compare the United States to any other country in the world, I would defy anybody to point to another country that has the diversity of population, the ability of 300 plus million people to live their lives alongside each other, to have a team-focused mentality, extraordinary personal freedoms, a quality of living that is virtually unmatched anywhere in the world. And where we came from, even if we go back to the days of slavery in the 1800s, the rapid progress over 100 years plus, right? Compared to any other country, there is no comparison. And so I think that we continue to be a bright, shining light of what is possible. The fact that we do have these internal debates means that we have the freedom to have these internal debates. I mean, these things don't happen in Beijing or Moscow or, Tehran, Iran, right? I mean, no other country really exhibits these sorts of things. And so it's important to keep things in perspective, always strive toward perfection, but realize we're doing a really, really good job here in the United States. And that's why people keep wanting to come here, as opposed to America fleeing the United States and trying to move to Cambodia, or Nigeria or North Korea. So it's perspective, and I think, and it's important to think about that as well.
And and then a personal experience that you would, I assume, get just by experiencing it in that first person.
Oh, sure.
To see how other people, I have the luxury of traveling around the country, but I haven't traveled outside of the country, outside of Canada, and to experience firsthand how other people are trying to do this thing, this way of putting a people together. But in many other cases, in many other countries, what you would consider native people, the melting pot that is the United States. We hear in politics, we hear all the time, every other established country is doing it this way, or why are all these countries doing it one way or the other, and we can't get it right. You've given a lot of reasons there why we are a distinctly different nation here, made up of an entirely different experience than anywhere else in the globe has experienced before.
Yeah, almost every other country is nearly homogenous, in its makeup. I mean, Germans are Germans. They all come from the same background. In Germany, they would, debate about different provinces or regions or what have you. But in general, they all speak the same language. They have the same basic history behind them. Go to Australia or go to Japan. You talk about no foreigners need apply. And you go to some of these Asian countries and, you walk into a marketplace or a shopping mall or get on a train, and you're not seeing the type of diversity that we have here in the United States. I mean, it's an extraordinary thing. And even if you go to France, there are neighborhoods in and around Paris where the police won't go because of kind of a tribalism. You have immigrants, they form their own community, they do not assimilate into the French society, and the French basically don't want them to assimilate. You just have these walled off sections. And you don't have anything like the discourse, the opportunity for advancement, people of different racial, ethnic, religious, economic, social backgrounds, all working in on the same baseball team or going to the same church or what have you. So again, it's an example that we set, and I think we lose sight of that from time to time.
Well, you've discussed other countries and the way they've done it being specifically homogenous. And you've talked about with Memorial Day, what we have done to protect our country and what we have sacrificed. But you've also talked about current and future threats. We hear from Russia now. They said on Monday, this from Reuters, it would send what it described as, quote, uncomfortable signals to the United States ahead of a summit between the two countries' leaders next month, and announced it was beefing up its western border military. Sounds frightening to an uneducated person like me on these issues. When Russia says they're going to send uncomfortable signals, what are we bracing ourselves for here in the United States?
Well, we've seen Russia prop up Bashar al-Assad in Syria. A murderous dictator that used chlorine gas against his own people, there in that country, right? Just decimated political opposition. We've seen Russia invade the country of Georgia. We've seen Russia support separatists in Ukraine. We've seen Russia do all sorts of penetration of airspace and the sea space around the Nordic countries, Norway and some of the Scandinavian lands up there. So Russia is very hungry. They yearn for a greater Russia from the Russian Empire period. They want to be a player on the global stage, and they have not shied away from assassinating political opponents, Vladimir Putin, and trying to create disruption throughout NATO. In the same way, China, views itself as not just a rising major power, but it wants to be the preeminent global superpower. And you see the amount of money they're putting into the military. They have bumping incidents with fishing boats. Their Coast Guard will ram Vietnamese fishing vessels. They fly in and around the airspace of Taiwan and Japan and Korea and others, right? So we need to look at the difference between rhetoric and the words spoken and then actual actions on the ground. And sometimes when the more combative rhetoric, like we're going to send worrisome signals, is matched by these air flights and deployments of ships and the buildup of troops, so talking about creating 20 new military units to be there on their border with NATO countries in Europe, you've got to give some credibility to that, because the behavior proves the reality of these sorts of words. So, we might think that you could just kind of talk things away, or that we're insulated by the Atlantic and the Pacific Oceans, but you look out in the bigger world, and there are other countries with other agendas at play. And it's not fear-mongering or trying to invent bogeys or anything. You just look at what's happening in the world. And again, these other leaders want to put their countries in a major position, and usually to the detriment or the harm of the United States.
We're speaking with Dakota Wood with the Heritage Foundation. He's a senior research fellow for defense programs there. I'm looking at the Biden administration and the percentage of time that they publicly spend speaking on these foreign policy issues. We know that they are going to have this summit with Russia, but much of what is discussed with this administration is a strong domestic agenda, a pretty drastic domestic agenda. When we hear that there's going to be a summit between these two leaders with, the questions surrounding China, we've heard some peeps out of North Korea here recently. How much of a plan has the Biden administration laid out there for you as an expert to consume, to feel like you know where America stands going into this summit with Vladimir Putin?
Well, it's a weak posture. I mean, it's a very worrisome stance. So the Biden administration has made a huge deal about investing in the future in terms of military capabilities, research and development accounts. When you actually look at the numbers, less than 1% increase. When you look at the numbers for the new defense budget, they'll say in real dollars, it's one of the largest ever. But when you account for inflation, we're actually losing a 0.5 percentage point. So you can talk about, increasing 1.7%. I know these are some numbers. Inflation's 2.1, 2.2%. So the military services are actually losing spending power. And so we're seeing the shrinkage of the Navy and the Army and the Marine Corps. We're seeing the Air Force underfund even less their flight hour program, which is the money applied to having airplanes in the air and pilots making sure that they've got the skills. So we're seeing stepping back, right, at the same time that the Biden administration is saying we're taking a very strong stance and we won't be, intimidated by the Russians and the Chinese. Well, the Russians and the Chinese and the Iranians, they count the same figures, that people like I do and the defense analytic community look at. And it says it's all kind of smoke and mirrors. You're not investing in things. Your military is getting older and smaller. So how are we supposed to be taken credibly to stand with Israel and the United Kingdom and Germany and Japan and South Korea that we have treaty alliances with? When you're Vladimir Putin and you see these shortfalls, you're going to come in as the big bully. And we're seeing the same sort of thing with Iran and the nuclear deal. The Biden administration saying we're never going to let them have nuclear weapons. And yet we want to get back into a deal that guarantees that the Iranians have a nuclear program. I mean, so there's this disconnect, this internal logical flaw that makes me and my colleagues very worried about what the administration is going to sign up to be seen as being a player back on the world stage.
Dakota, before we let you go, quickly here,
Sure.
Does our administration's apathy towards what's taking place on the southern border, putting Kamala Harris in charge of that, and she seems she hasn't gotten that memo yet, is there a connection to what is taking place on our southern border with Mexico, influenced by all of these countries who have a pathway through Mexico to arrive in the United States? Is the Biden is the position that the administration has on that specific issue, does that influence these other nations that you're listing?
It does. It's a rhetoric reality gap. So they will say all the right things, American values and extending the hand of freedom of opportunity, and we're a nation of immigrants, all those things, which is all true. But then you look at the reality of unconstrained, flow of migrants across our southern border, the discussion of a pathway to citizenship, as if, those people who followed the rules, had a hard time or whatever getting citizenship, but those that flaunt the rules or break the laws also have the same opportunity. Kids that have been, in these ever-expanding facilities along the southern border, Kamala Harris, who refuses, to even visit the border because it would point out the reality as opposed to the rhetoric. And so, again, if you're a state or a country further south and you see what the United States is not doing, well, if I was in one of these southern countries and my life was kind of, lousy or didn't have opportunities, I'd want to go up to the United States as well. And so it's external observers looking at what the United States says and then what the United States does, where we put our money and what that says about our priorities, because you just follow the dollar, right? I mean, if you're going to spend $1 on a hamburger, that's more important than having the oil changed in your car. You can't ignore that sort of math. And so I think this is the problem we've got, where the administration is making all kinds of promises to constituents, to people who want to vote to keep this administration into power, because there are giveaways. You know, you can get benefits from us if you keep us in power, but at long-term, extraordinarily harmful risk to the future prospects of our country.
Dakota, so much to be paying attention to on the national stage,
Yeah.
and we appreciate your expertise here to give it to us. Thank you so much. Good to speak with you.
Thank you. God bless.
You as well. Dakota Wood is the Senior Research Fellow for Defense Programs at the Heritage Foundation. We are going to take a quick break because on the home front, and by home front, I mean on the Illinois front, the last weekend has been quite busy in Springfield. And yes, you like to see your government go to work, but when the Illinois legislature convenes, man, hold on to your wallet, among other things that were passed this weekend. I'm going to tell you, how many minutes do you think they debated on a budget in the state of Illinois? I'm going to tell you that when we come back as we discuss what took place in the Illinois legislative session that is wrapping up this holiday weekend. Ted Dabrowski of WirePoints, he's the president, is going to join us to give us the breakdown on what kind of pill Illinois is going to have to swallow here in this next year. Brace yourself. There are some really wild and crazy things going on out of the legislature, and we'll have that for you when we come back. Stick around. More Annie Fry Show around the corner.
Mama said that the boys like you never walk out anyway.
This is the Annie Fry Show.
Say, are you gonna be sad if he calls you up? You're gonna take him back. I said, hell no. Oh, hell no.
Edwards Carpet has extended our huge Memorial Day sale through June 6th. This is the last chance at these prices. Get 18 months 0% financing and pay no tax. Hurry in and save big.
Come on down to Edwards Carpet Stores.
If you've listened to 97.1 FM Talk, you have heard of Doug Voss of Voss Financial Safe Money Radio, as he has been a staple on the station as the financial expert for many years. You can hear him on Safe Money Radio several times a weekend on 97.1 FM Talk. And in case you miss any of those shows, on his podcasts on Odyssey.com and search Safe Money 97.1. So call Doug at 844-676-SAFE. That is 844-676-7233. Doug Voss is a registered representative. Securities offered through DH Hill Securities, LLLP. Member FINRA and SIPC.
Hi, everybody. This is Sean Rimmerman, your host of We're Having a Senior Moment. Do you have a warm heart and a caring soul? Are you really devoted to being able to help others? Give us a call at Comfort Care 314-965-9600. Let us help you turn your dreams into reality as you help our friends, our families, and our clients live their best lives possible. Remember, 314-965-9600.
Hi, this is Tracy, president of Acropolis Technology Group. I want to start by recognizing our team's exceptional hard work during this pandemic, and apparently our clients recognize it as well. We were just honored by not winning one Best in Business award, but 4 Best in Business awards. We won Best IT Firm, Best in Cybersecurity, Best in Customer Service, and Best in Value. These 4 awards are a culmination of our team's hard work every single day, all done during the most challenging year we've had in our 24-year history. What these 4 awards tell me is that we are recognized for being experts at our craft. We do it in a friendly way, and our clients see value from partnering with us. I can't think of 4 better awards that summarize what it is we do for our clients each and every week. Acropolis has been helping some of the region's best companies protect, optimize, and grow their businesses now for many years. We have done it for them, and we can help you too. To find out more, give us a call or visit us at acropolistech.com. That's Acropolis, TECH.com. Acropolis. It's a better way to manage IT.
I don't know how much I can stress how much I love my new closets from the Closet Factory, how much I am obsessed with what they were able to do, really kind of as a suggested idea when they were at our house checking it out. The laundry situation in our house, we were really excited when we purchased our house that the laundry was on the second floor with the bedrooms. Come to find out that when your laundry is in a closet upstairs, it's great because the laundry doesn't infiltrate the rest of your house, but we don't really have a laundry room per se. When the Closet Factory came over, because I wanted them to do the master closet, and they did, and it is so amazing. I'm going to be showing you very soon. They also looked at our laundry closet and reconfigured the way it's set up so that we now have a mini laundry room. And this is an amazing way to keep the laundry from seeping into the other rooms in our house. And it has had an amazing organization domino effect in the Fry home. If you have a custom organization question or solution that you need an answer to, you need the Closet Factory. Call them at 314-961-4300 today. You will not be disappointed. 314-961-4300, closetfactory.com.
Do you have 3 ex-wives and your current trophy wife wants a life insurance policy 3 times the size of the policies you had to purchase for your previous mistakes? If so, you need to call Big Lou at Term Provider, 800-777-1979. Big Lou is intimately familiar with your problems, and if you're 50 or 60 years old and in reasonably good health, a $1 million policy should only cost about $100 to $200 per month. Big Lou may have a solution for your previous policies as well. You may even save enough money to lighten the load on your new $1 million policy. Remember, call Big Lou. He's like you, except he's only on number 2. Call Term Provider at 800-777-1979. That's 800-777-1979. For $1 million in term life insurance that you can live with. Call Big Lou at 800-777-1979. 800-777-1979.
Free speech is alive. Right here at the frequency of 97.1. It's where St. Louis comes to talk freely. 97.1 FM Talk.
We go together, better than birds of a feather, you and me. We change the weather, yeah. I'm feeling heat in December when you found me. I've been dancing on top of cars and stumbling out of bars. I follow you through the dark, can't get enough. You're the medicine and the pain, the tattoo inside my brain. And baby, you know it's obvious. I'm a sucker for you.
I'm a sucker for you. That's kind of how I feel about the state of Illinois. Here I am. Yes, I know. You're going to flood me with emails and Facebook messages and chats on the YouTube Live and the Facebook Live. Andy, why do you still live there? And my answer remains because it's home. The Illinois legislative session is wrapping up. I'm not 100% sure that it officially wrapped up yet, but Ted Dabrowski is here to give us the lowdown of what our legislature has been working hard on late during a holiday weekend, you know, really diving into the deep stuff, like really feeling out the budget and making sure that the Illinois taxpayer is at the epicenter of great decisions. Ted Dabrowski of WirePoints, he's their president, joins us now. Ted, you got good news for us, or am I just really blowing smoke here?
Hey, Annie, I don't have good news for you. I mean, you know, it's the same old is all I can tell you, that, you know, this government has no desire to fix the problems of Illinois. You know, they managed to take $8 billion from the federal government, you know, mix that up with all the stimulus checks that created great revenues, tax revenues for the state. And, you know, they put together a new budget, but it doesn't do anything to address the problems that most Illinoisans are struggling with. And it doesn't make Illinois any cheaper to live in. I don't think it provides better jobs than it did before. Maybe it's going to be worse. And I don't think its governments are any less corrupt after tomorrow. So,
you know,
not good news.
I was reading from the legislature. Guzzardi was tweeting about a lot of what was going on last night. He said that the budget is balanced. Is the budget that they looked at in late at night last night and went to pass the BIMP that follows it. Is it a balanced budget truly for the Illinois taxpayer?
Well, Annie, you know, you have to realize that these guys always say it's a balanced budget. You know, the state actually has a constitutional requirement to balance the budget. So by somebody's definition, it's always balanced. But Illinois know that it's never balanced because there's always all these pension debts and all these other debts that crop up on us that make us pay higher and higher property taxes and higher taxes. So in the real terms, it's not balanced at all. It's phony accounting the state uses, but in their terms, it's balanced, and they're going to celebrate it. So you'll hear them say, "Great job, we balanced our budget," but it's just not true.
We're speaking with Ted Dabrowski. He's the president at WirePoints. Where do you look at what the legislature is doing right now? You said this is more business as usual for our Illinois representatives and senators. What kind of emphasis have they put on the future of this state with the Illinois tax dollar through the legislation that they've been passing?
Well, if you look at it, this was a kind of a monumental chance, given all that happened in the last couple of years with COVID, and of course the crisis we're under even before COVID hit. And so here, Illinois is going to get something like $28 billion from the federal government. The state government's going to get some, school districts going to get money, local governments are going to get money. This is a perfect chance to say, hey, we're going to do instead of a one-year budget and just try to cram things through, let's do a multi-year budget. Let's use all that money coming in to provide a lot of relief for the reforms we need to do, the cost cutting we need to do. And let's see if we can do something that finally fixes the state. But that, of course, is a dream. None of that happened. Instead, they've added more programs. They have raised taxes on businesses by some $600 million, despite all that new money. And they've taken care of a lot of programs, a lot of grants in there. Just a lot of programs, which means more spending, but doesn't help the average Joe and average Jane.
But what about businesses? We've been in a pandemic. We have had a situation here where businesses have been closed because they have not been allowed to remain open, and that becomes very problematic for people who are trying to make their living, who are trying very hard to not live off of a paycheck that the government is going to send them. They hope. In such a tough year, how has the legislature worked to benefit these businesses with the budget, with the funding that they're getting? Are business owners, employers in the state of Illinois a focus?
Well, in theory, they say they are. There's got some $1 billion of that, or I say $1.5 billion of the $8 billion coming from the federal government. Some of that is going to business relief, but just some of it's not a whole lot. And the real question is, the real relief would come from lowering the cost of pensions, lowering the cost of property taxes, right? Workers' compensation costs. None of that, they don't even talk about those things right now. And that's, I think, what the frustrating thing is for us. We're looking to see Illinois become much more vibrant and a much better place to invest in. They're not even talking about property tax reform. Not, all that money came in and not a penny dedicated to property tax reform.
Yeah, you talk about making Illinois an attractive place to do business. What about an attractive place to just, in general, live, to be a taxpayer, to, be somebody who loves, as I do, this place that has been my home, always been my home. My family has family farms, a centennial farm. My husband's family has the same thing going. I mean, there are people who have deep roots here in the state of Illinois who want to see Illinois thrive. But yet we see each and every year and over the course of a decade, the out-migration of this state is very problematic because the tax burden remains, and it gets, with every person who leaves, it gets larger and larger for the taxpayers who are left behind. Is Illinois looking at doing anything to incentivize businesses to come here, to incentivize taxpayers to stay here?
No, sorry to be so blunt, but it's not. And I, like you, believe in this state. I don't believe in the politicians that we have right now, but I do believe in this state. It's got great assets that we talk about all the time. It's got great people, but it's got horrible politicians with bad policies. And so we're kind of stuck right now waiting them out. And to me, the only way it seems that we squeeze them out is when the finances don't work anymore. And, things were going that way pre-pandemic. Illinois was in real trouble. And the pandemic actually scared a lot of people about what might happen in Illinois. But unfortunately, we got billions and billions of bailouts and all that stimulus money that the federal government spent that basically bailed out the current lot of politicians. So, they won this one. They get to win for the next couple of years with all that money laying around. But the bottom line is the cracks in the state all are still there. They're still growing. We just have to kind of wait through this money coming in and papering over the problems in the short term.
Well, there are a lot of people who have left the state of Illinois, but there are many people who have stayed who want to see Illinois turn the corner. I'm one of those people, and I advocate for the future of Illinois. I think it's something that it is worth advocating. For the people who are listening right now who fall into that camp, at WirePoints, you are working hard at exposing what's really going on to give people the information that they need to understand what is happening at our government level with our economic crisis that we're in. WirePoints.org for people who want to look at it. What else can the Illinois resident, the person who loves the state and calls it home, what else can they do to join in the fight to preserve the future of the state?
Yeah, Annie, I hear you. My parents were immigrants to Illinois. They both came from over other countries to Illinois to make it. They lived the American dream. And so, yeah, I'm like you, wanting to fight for better Illinois. In the short term, what we have to do is educate ourselves, get smarter. Places like wirepoints.org and other good groups in Illinois that share a lot of similar information. We have to go and lobby our legislators, our mayors, and just be relentless, because a lot of stuff that comes out in the news isn't the truth. And what we need to do is win the truth war, and that means getting engaged, sharing information with your friends, putting pressure, and collectively we all have to speak up. Otherwise, we lose.
Well, Ted Dabrowski, a pleasure to have you on the show. You're welcome back anytime. Thank you for keeping your finger on the pulse here. We'll encourage people to go to wirepoints.org to read more. We'll talk to you again soon, Ted.
Take care.
Bye-bye. Ted Dabrowski is the president of WirePoints, wirepoints.org, on Twitter at WirePoints. Highly encourage the follow and the research there that you can invest. I mean, some of the things that we have seen come out of this legislative session. I mean, I got to talk to my bosses to ask if I can talk about the things that some of the things that they did. I'll tell you right now, you can go on to the Annie Fry Show Facebook page. Katie, did you see the post that I shared from Representative Tony McComey? She's from Quad Cities area, a friend of mine, who she put on here photographs of what 10-year-olds will be learning in sex education in public school in the state of Illinois.
I saw it. Oh,
it's
my gosh.
Unbelievable. 10 years old. People will say, don't be Pollyannish about these things. The kids are learning these things. Kids are exposed to these things. There is an absolute need to have these conversations, but not outside of my presence as a parent. And we're going to talk a little bit about that too when we come back, because there's another video that I retweeted. And again, it's like stuff that I'm not going to play on the radio, because when I think about who's sitting out there listening to 97.1 right now, or the Annie Fry Show in some capacity, my kids probably have their ears to the radio, and I'm not going to expose my kids to this. I'm certainly not going to expose yours, but you can see it on the Annie Fry Show Twitter page at Annie Fry Show, or what's going on in the state of Illinois, which passed. I will tell you this, it passed by the bare minimum votes. Katie Stewart, my representative, District 112 in Madison County, right across the river, deciding vote on this sex ed bill. That is grotesque. You need to see the pictures for yourself. You can see them on the Annie Fry Show page. We'll discuss that and what should be done in the classroom when we come back. Stick around. We'll be right back.
I'm a sucker for you. Yeah. Don't complicate it.
You're listening to the Annie Fry Show live from the Air Comfort Service Heating and Cooling Studio. In addition to heating and cooling, Air Comfort Service also offers indoor air quality, water heater, and AeroSeal duct seal services. Get in your comfort zone with aircomfortservice.com.
The button, a symbol of things made easier. Before buttons, things were much harder, like pull starting an outboard motor.
Come on, you. Come on, you. Come on. Okay, this time you're going to start. Come on.
Or manually opening a garage door.
Oh no, my back.
Or even treating sleep apnea. If you've tried CPAP but struggle to get a good night's sleep, relief can be as easy as a button with Inspire.
Inspire is a sleep apnea treatment that works inside your body with just the click of a remote. That's right, a button. As you sleep, Inspire keeps you breathing normally and sleeping peacefully. No mask, no hose, just sleep. To learn more, visit inspiresleep.com. That's inspiresleep.com. Inspire, sleep apnea innovation. Inspire is not for everyone. Talk to your doctor to see if it's right for you and review important safety information at inspiresleep.com.
The Martins came over, we were having spaghetti when we suddenly noticed that we started getting sweaty. So we grabbed the keys and we ate it in the van. That's what my friend said, call Cherry Kelly, man, CherryKelly.com. Give him a call even though it's late, CherryKelly.com. Cause Jerry Kelly's always open up until 8. They're certified technicians, I've been told. We'll help you when it's hot and help you when it's cold, CherryKelly.com. They're fast and they're good and they got it going on, CherryKelly.com.
This station is now conducting a test of the emergency alert system. This is only a test. Heading out for a day of fishing on the lake? Do your family a favor and make sure you have your life jacket on. Men are 6 times more likely to drown than women. Life jackets worn, nobody mourns. This water safety message is brought to you by the U.S. Army Corps of Engineers, St. Louis District.
Hey, it's Mark Reardon for CertaPro Painters, and if you have a painting job that's on your to-do list, don't do it yourself. You're going to do something that's a lot more fun than painting, and you're going to go with CertaPro Painters, and they're going to do a great job. They're going to knock it out of the park. This is for house painting, commercial painting. They do it all. They transform homes and businesses by providing expert services with a proven process. Each CertaPro Painters business is independently owned and operated. Get started today. A free estimate is just a couple of clicks away. CertaPro.com. That's CertaPro.com. Certa with a C. Get with CertaPro today. Tell them that I sent you over. CertaPro Painters.
Weekdays from 6 to 7. Catch the Dave Glover Show on 97.1. It's the best of each day, boiled down to 1 hour. The DGS Highlight Hour. Every weekday at 6 on 97.1 FM Talk.
In Baltimore, after a year of challenges due to the coronavirus, the public school district is announcing a new grading policy. The district will be allowed to pass tens of thousands of students on to the next grade, even if they failed at least one class. Now, the policy applies to nearly 25,000 middle school and high school students across the city. In Baltimore, more than half of elementary students failed at least one course.
More than half. More than half. My goodness, if that's not a soundbite that makes us understand that these children need to be back in the classroom yesterday, I don't know what is. And I'm going to tell you this, look around your local school districts. That's a clip from something in Baltimore, somewhere in Baltimore, but this is happening locally as well. Missouri, Illinois, you are seeing it. I mean, ask the questions of your school board. How many children are passing through to the next level without actually passing the classes that are necessary? And what are teachers supposed to be doing with students who don't have passing grades? Is it different? Are they modifying standards to make it so that these kids can continue on? It's an unprecedented situation. We have gone through a pandemic. We've adjusted over the course of time, but we cannot fail our kids in life because we're afraid to fail them if they didn't put in the work. Big difference between not putting in the work and not being able to adapt to an unconventional learning style. How are we helping these kids succeed? Please tell me it's not just passing them on to the next teacher, to the next grade. That's tragedy. I was talking a little bit before the break about some of the sex ed stuff that has been passed here in the state of Illinois, but also conversations that are taking place across the entire country right now regarding the importance of sexual education in our classrooms. Katie, this is one of those topics that I think is important to discuss on the air, but you have to be very sensitive in how I take that very seriously. I want to encourage people to go to our Facebook page, the Annie Fry Show Facebook page, and get a look, a post that I shared May 27th at 6:32. There is some images from a book to educate kids on this topic for 10-year-olds. Now, what is taking place in the state of Illinois, what passed is K through 12 sex education, and the images that are shown here, which are just shocking, and the way that it's presented for 10-year-olds is very disconcerting. But we are seeing other videos that have been showed to kids as young as 6, kindergartners. Mm-hmm. And I was having some conversations with some educators about this, and what they tell you is that if some of this stuff makes you blush or makes you uncomfortable, then you need to step out of your uncomfortability and you need to understand that these are conversations that need to be had. when they talk about kindergartners, they want kindergartners to be able to talk to somebody in the event that they are being abused. I completely understand that. There is a scientific way to discuss body parts with kids in a very specific way that is not sexualized, so that kids can communicate to you something that is happening in their life, right? And that is a very important thing. The video that I retweeted from Matt Walsh earlier today, which I sent to you, Katie, and I'm going to just allow anybody who wants to view this video. I encourage you to do it. It's going to make you uncomfortable. Again, this is being shown to 6-year-olds. And, a bit of what Matt Walsh tweeted about the specific video might be a little bit hyperbolic, but unbelievable if my 6-year-old comes home and starts talking to me about this thing. Katie, I sent it to you. You replied back, no good.
Oh, totally creepy. So unbelievably creepy. The messaging was creepy. The format, the medium that they chose, that it was cartoon characters. I don't have any kids, but like you just said, Annie, if my kid came home and said, this is what was shown to me today in school, and it made me feel really uncomfortable, mommy, I would be raging.
Kind of what my husband said. He's like, I would be
so mad.
So maybe what we could do, Katie, for people who don't have Twitter, can we put a post up about this and embed my tweet on there so people can watch it if they want to consume it? You need to know what's going on, whether you have a child, a grandchild of this age or any age, to know what is being passed and is passable for adults in a legislature to say that kids need to understand. I'll give you the let's say 30,000 foot view of what this video is supposed to be talking about. Again, the premise with which people push the idea that these conversations are necessary is that kids who are 6 maybe don't understand specific names for specific body parts. And if they were in a situation where they were being abused, they may not know how to fully communicate that. Well, I want to point out something called Aaron's Law. And I'm reading this right now just from the internet here. Aaron's Law or Illinois Public Act 097-1147 requires public schools to provide sexual abuse prevention education for children in pre-kindergarten through 12th grade. This is something that came to be in 2011. So let's not pretend that right now there hasn't already been a decade worth of effort to make sure that these communication that the vocabulary, that educating kids on how to speak on an issue, to make sure, because Aaron of Aaron's Law was abused, was raped for 2 years of her life from the time she was 6 to 8 by a neighbor, and didn't have anywhere to go, didn't know how to communicate it, didn't talk to anyone about it. It's a tragic story. And they've passed this to encourage people to communicate with children, to give them the information they need in order to be able to communicate that back. I can get behind that to an extent, but I need to know what the content is. This video that I retweeted, Vicky said so on Facebook, says so creepy in all caps. I was livid after I saw your Twitter post last night, Annie. Same thoughts here. They take the idea of identifying body parts that you would need to discuss a situation that had made a child uncomfortable or far, far worse. And they use it as an opportunity to convey more about those body parts that desensitize people to it sexualizes the connotation of what is being discussed. It's not an anatomy lesson. They take the opportunity under the umbrella of educating children on knowing their anatomy and knowing what to call things and what the appropriate, if you have a air quotes, cute nickname for a specific body part, that's one thing, but you need to know the real names of these body parts so that you can have that conversation. They take it a step further and they use it as an opportunity to communicate to 6-year-olds the purpose of the anatomy, to the extent that we're seeing in the post of what those pictures are showing to the 10-year-olds. And it is mind-blowing. And I look at this And I see, people have said to me in regards to this, they're like, well, we do need to be communicating this to our children. We do need to be looking into our kids' futures and equipping them with the information. Why is it that the only way that can possibly happen is through a government mandated piece of curriculum that I am not present for as their parent? Every time we go down this road of identifying a problem and disseminating the family responsibility to have these discussions and taking the responsibility away from the family to have these discussions with kids, we lose the value of the most core benefit that any child can have, and that's the relationship with their parent or parents or family. The teacher who is in this classroom is not the appropriate person to be talking to my 6-year-old about these kinds of things. It's just not the right, it's not the right place. It's not the right time. You can talk about the science, the biology, the anatomy of the discussion, but you're not going to be talking about it in the context of morality and your morality, where you derive your morality, where I derive my morality, where Katie derives hers, or where anybody derives their morality. They're all going to be different places. Some people derive that morality from religion. Some people just have a sense of good and bad and right and wrong, and they implement that. Some people do it from, generations of family values, or maybe regional values or cultural values, whatever they are. They're all individual. All of that is so incredibly removed from the situation where you sterilize something, you put information into the head of a child without the context of what it really needs to be embraced in. And it is dangerous. And our government thinks it's their responsibility. Until families start stepping into these issues and saying, no, stop, this is me, this is mine, they are going to continue to take every inch that they are given. Which is why, as uncomfortable as it might make you, when I decided to share that post to Facebook, I was sitting in the Sam's parking lot. I remember it. And I was like, should I share this?
Yeah.
I'm like, I really don't know if I should share this. And I'm like, people need to know. People need to understand that this is what is going on. And if I choose not to share it because it makes me uncomfortable, then I am failing the people who don't know that this is out there and failing giving them the opportunity to speak on it.
What does it say, too, that it makes adults and parents uncomfortable to watch something like that, and yet we're showing it to 6-year-olds?
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know a single parent that would watch that video and be like, you know what? That is actually the way that I choose to have my kid learn about this stuff. I don't.
If you want to provide content like that, videos like that, resources for parents through different organizations, and say, here are things that you can use to help talk to your kids about these issues, I'm completely okay with that, because it's still my choice. If I choose to implement a piece of content like what they have provided to aid me in my conversation, which is incredibly personal between myself and my children, with my husband, I can make that choice. It's the content in and of itself doesn't have to be, the evil thing here. It's the idea that the parents are not involved in this conversation. And it's happening in a classroom with other kids, with educators. It is so incredibly crazy. Vicky on Facebook says, how are the contractions? Still happening, Vicky. Still happening. I can now more focus on my contractions. I'll be back tomorrow, unless I'm not, folks. Katie, thanks for your help today. Stick around. Mark Reardon coming back.
Hi, it's Michael Mohan with Community Mortgage. Interest rates are still at historic lows. If you have